coming today?
Just about. You?
Yeah, we're ready to go.
All right, cool.
It's been 161 days since they last reported to work here at Comerica Park, and they won a World Series game that October 9th. Today, they're getting set to be introduced as the American League champion Detroit Tigers. It'll be within a packed house, which will leave hundreds outside clamoring to get inside. Opening day in Detroit is a party, and the party began early on this day. The volume gets turned up as game time approaches this April Monday here on FSN. Happy opening day, and welcome to Tigers Live here on FSN. I'm John Keating, and our Tigers Live programming is presented by Carrabba's. We're about to find the validity of those who subscribe to the theory that it's easier to get to the top than it is to stay there. Some would believe that to be the Clay Aiken theory. The Tigers will celebrate 2006 for just a moment and then run right into the teeth of 2007. And one of the reasons we're excited about 2007 is the arrival of Gary Sheffield in a trade from the New York Yankees last November. Welcome to Detroit for opening day. How excited are you?
I'm very excited. You know, I got a feel of it last night going to the wrestling match, and the fans are enthusiastic about this team. Looking forward to bigger and better things. You know, hopefully we can finish it off this time.
They announced you at WrestleMania. Did you get a chance to wave to the folks at WrestleMania last night?
Yeah, 103,000 people. That was kind of scary.
Tell me the feeling on opening day for a guy who's been around the baseball block. You've been through a number of these. Are there moments you have to sort of keep your emotions in check?
Well, you always have to, you know, because you have so many requests. You have a lot of family members in town, you know, you have to take care of, try to get that out the way. But, you know, once the game starts, the fans are going to be excited. They want a piece of you a little bit. You know, you got to wave, you know, acknowledge the fans. But at the same time, you got to be prepared and focus on the game.
You've changed teams a number of times. Do you try to make sure that you don't try to do too much in your first game with new teammates?
Well, sometimes that's hard to do. You know, you always want to go out and make a good impression, you know, on the first time out. But, you know, you just try to let the game come to you. And if you get strikes, try to attack the baseball, and hopefully you get good results.
And attacking the baseball is one of the things that you do best. Tell me about your violent swing. When did that begin?
Well, actually, you know, I was pretty, like, mellow in high school. And, you know, I got to put the wood bat in my hand in rookie ball, and I didn't adjust too well. So I had to come up with something to get some movement at the plate. And I was just messing around in batting practice, and I wound up hitting that way. And to hit that way, you have to really kind of like get your hand, you know, top hand on, you know, there to the strike zone. And it kind of made me more aggressive. And I took that into the game, and it worked.
You competed against the Tigers in the playoffs last year. What is the perception from an outsider of this Tigers team as 2006 was unfolding last year?
Well, you know, looking at them last year coming in, you was always saying they're a threat. You know, you can't take them for granted, especially the pitching staff. And once the game gets to the fifth inning, you start looking at the scoreboard because you know that the guns are going to go up. And so you're not trying to get to the bullpen.
You're creeping in the direction of 500 homers for your career. On opening day, how important is that to you?
Well, yeah, it's not the most important thing right now. The most important thing now is winning the championship, and that, you know, I have 3 years to do that, so I don't have to worry about those things. I just go out and play my game.
Your wife is here. We hope to visit with her over the course of the day. I know you're probably as proud of her as she is of you, because she's got a recording career that's in full blossom right now.
Yeah, she's the real talent in the family, you know. so you know, she's been doing great. You know, she said this is probably one of her best projects out now, and you know, she's been amazing. We went all over the country singing this offseason, and the response she got was tremendous.
We're going to track her down over the course of opening day against the Blue Jays. Have fun today. We appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Gary Sheffield, the brand new Tiger, joining us on the first installment of Tigers Live. Well, it is an interesting mix in the ballpark today. Those holding tickets run the gamut of absolutely being here for baseball to absolutely being seen, which is always part of the fun. Among the people watchers, the veteran baseball observer, Ryan Field, wandering around outside Comerica with more on the parties in progress.
Keats, opening day hysteria is in full effect out here as these fans are more than ready for the 107th season opener here in the city of Detroit. Just to give you an idea of what opening day is all about, to give you the full effect, if you will, I'm going to make a quick lap around the park to see what's happening.
It's opening day, baby! It's opening day!
You know, it brings great friends together. We got friends from Ann Arbor coming. We got friends from Bloomfield, Canada, Novi, Commerce. So we're all getting down here today just to have a great party.
Go Tigers!
We love the team. We've always loved the team. We just happen to be in a special situation this year that, you know, coming off last year, hey, that was a great year, great run. But you know what? We've been down here, like I said, 7, 8 years now. Doesn't matter. We're excited to be here.
No doubt everybody's having a great time out here today, Keats. In fact, we think you might be a little jealous that you're stuck inside today, but either way, we'll have much more reaction from the fans and all the highlights, post-game reaction, analysis, interviews, all that and much, much more on the inaugural edition of Tigers Live Postgame immediately following the Tigers and Blue Jays game here today. Meantime, we'll send it back to you inside.
I am here to tell you there ain't no party like a Ryan Field party. Ryan, thanks very much. It should be a great day downtown. Tigers and Blue Jays coming up, but we've got the game for you here on FSN Detroit. We're just getting going on our initial installment of Tigers Live. The Tigers opening day starter, Jeremy Bonderman, on all the attention given to the development of a new pitch, and especially now in his role of the #1 starter. We'll recall the moment that caused all the buzz in the offseason when Maglio Ordonez went finito on the Oakland A's and some of his teammates lost their minds, as you'll hear ahead. And later, the raising of the championship banner that was the result of Mag's heroics. Everything changed last year with Jim Leyland in place as the Tigers manager. It was not a coincidence. How special is he? How different is the guy who oversees this terrific collection of players? The players with some thoughts on that next. Tigers Live is presented by Carrabba's. Good things happen around our table. We're coming right back to Comerica Park on this opening day.
On an all-new CMI with Chris Myers, Curt Schilling takes on his critics.
I don't pitch for contracts.
And shoots from the hip.
That's how I feel, right or wrong. And if you don't like that, that's okay.
The Chris Myers interview on FSN.
Tigers open the gates a half hour sooner than normal today for opening day. Perhaps that's as a little nod toward the challenges of getting here. With the lodge closed and Woodward torn up, the fans got a chance to get in and see those blinding white uniforms against the green grass of the field. They had 44,179 wedged into the park for the opener last year, but some seats have now been reconfigured as the Tigers have changed some of the Tiger Den seats, and the ballpark gained 400 tickets per game. This is the year to plan a Tigers group outing at Comerica Park. Groups of 15 or more in April get half-price tickets on select locations. Book your group tickets now to see the Tigers defend their American League championship. Call 313-471-BALL or visit DetroitTigers.com. And the American League Championship will be reminded to everybody who comes into the ballpark this season with a flag that's going up out in center field. And one of those chosen to help unfurl the championship flag is Audrey Zielinski, the Tigers' longest tenured employee. You have been here since 1956. Hold that microphone right up there if you would. How much of an honor is this when they tapped you on the shoulder and they said, Audrey, we want you to do this?
When Dave Dombrowski asked if I would be part of the honor guard, I can't tell you how humbled I was and privileged to know that I would be half of the honor guard with Brandon Inge, raising the American League pennant. One of the milestones in my baseball career.
And it's a baseball career that has now approaching
51 years.
5 decades. Yeah. How has baseball in this town changed in your days as a Tiger employee?
You know, it's only gotten better. Only gotten better. It's
really, because we went through some dark days there, Audrey.
But you know what? We always had the fans. They were always with us through the cheers and the joy, and they're remarkable. I loved working for the Tigers.
All right, what are your duties? How does one unfurl a championship flag?
Well, actually, it's very easy. It's already on the table, and we delicately raise it up, make sure it's the right side up so everybody can see it, and we stand and listen to the background music.
Sure, right.
And then they start raising the real one in right field, and then we gently put it back on the table, and our work is over.
All right, and that's when everybody begins crying. And watch out for that Brandon Inge. Help him as much as you can today.
Oh, I will. All right. I will. I want to be on the same page with Brandon.
We appreciate your time. Enjoy opening day, as I'm sure you will.
I will.
Audrey Zielinski, she'll be a part of the championship flag raising ceremony here at Comerica on this day. She already had 7 years in with the Tigers when they drafted a young catching prospect named Jim Leyland out of Perrysburg, Ohio. It didn't turn out to be a great draft, but Leyland certainly came quickly to the realization that catching was not his forte, managing perhaps was. It's fascinating to watch him work. You can almost hear the wheels turning in his head. And the question was posed to many of the Tigers this season. What Leyland memory, what moment from last year has hung around in the offseason as truly something special?
2 outs, man on second. Base hit, we win. Out, we lose. All right, we lost.
He's a funny dude, but he will bust your butt in a minute.
Just catch that one we're supposed to catch all the time.
He knows how to motivate guys.
Those great plays will happen because you're good athletes.
He knows, you know, when to make guys laugh.
When my wife cooks, we pray after we eat.
You know, he's really just a good people person.
And perhaps that is the best way to describe Jim Leyland. The players love him because he tells it like it is, pulling no punches, but knowing exactly what buttons to push and when to push them.
We're playing Chicago. We just lost. It was one of those games where, you know, we were winning at the end, and they came back, and they were shaking hands and celebrating. We're sitting in the dugout watching. He came back in the dugout, and he screamed at us to get in the locker room. Pulled us in there, shut the doors, and said, you know, losers don't watch the other team, because the reason you do that is you don't know when you're going to have that celebration again. He told us that when you lose a game, you come in and you get your workout in, put a little music on, drink a beer, have fun. You come back the next day. And I just think the fact that he doesn't focus on winning, he focuses on preparing to win, that's really big.
Well, Leyland's hot and bothered. He's been thrown out of the game. And here comes Jim now to get his money's worth.
Leyland's outbursts have been few and far between, but a couple of them have been memorable, to say the least.
We had a chance to come out and take a series, and I'm not talking about anybody in particular. I'm talking about in team. Myself, the coaches, and everybody else included. It's my responsibility to have the team ready to play today. They weren't ready to play. They were ready to get on a plane and go to Oakland. If we won, it was okay, and if we lost, it was okay, and that's not good enough.
Other messages have been more low-key, yet just as important.
The meeting we had before the Yankee series was, you know, one of the coolest things I've been a part of, you know, in all my baseball. Just the way Jim talks and the way he addresses people, and I think that's what makes him different than other people. Is he has that knack to be able to talk to guys and you know, kind of get you fired up and make you believe that you're the best.
One of Leyland's words to live by is accountability, and even in a team sport such as baseball, every player knows their responsibility.
Do your job. Don't worry about anybody else. You do your job and everybody else do their job, then we're going to be okay. And I think that's what he brings to the table, and I think that's the message that we try to get across to these guys is do your job. Take care of your business.
Jim Leyland said this morning that he got his annual phone call from his brother Larry, and brother Larry didn't even talk. All Leyland heard when he picked up the phone was that time-honored song from the 1960s, Go Get 'Em Tigers, which Jim Leyland occasionally will hum through the Tigers dugout. Not much drama about who will be in his opening day lineup. This has been pretty much set for most of the spring, and on occasions in which the Tigers will face a right-handed pitcher, Curtis Granderson will be the leadoff hitter. Placido Polanco, who hit .500 this spring, will bat second. Gary Sheffield, the DH third, just in front of Mags. Carlos Guillen, the Tigers' best player last year, and still smiling with that contract extension, will hit fifth. Pudge, over his career, has hit an incredible .556 against today's starter, the former Cy Young winner Roy Halladay. Sean Casey will bat seventh, and the Tigers' 8th and 9th hitters, Monroe and Inge, combined for 56 homers last season. He became the first Tiger pitcher to strike out 200 batters in a season since Jack Morris did it way back in 1987, even before the Tigers were hit by an injury to their starting rotation with the loss of Kenny Rogers. Jeremy Vonderman was to be the opening day pitcher. He'll talk of this assignment, this distinction, and of taking strides forward with a brand new pitch when we continue on Tigers Live. Tigers Live opening day is brought to you in part by Ricoh. Move your ideas forward with Ricoh dependability.
You're watching the Tigers 36-inning marathon on FSN Detroit.
The hope was that Kenny Rogers would be here at Comerica today. He'll make every effort to get here. While he'll be a part of the team, he won't be a player for the 2007 Tigers until at least July. The Father's Day win at Wrigley, certainly one of the most memorable in his career. It was Kenny's 200th big league victory. Rogers' 17-8 record a year ago, as important as any aspect of Detroit's season. You've heard by now that after complaining of a tired arm, test results revealed a blood clot in his shoulder that was surgically repaired on Friday. So the deepest starting rotation in baseball had to overcome the loss of Mike Moroth last year, and now we'll have to deal with Rogers being shelved. The Tigers starting 5 are Bonderman. Robertson moves up to 2. Then it's Rookie of the Year Justin Verlander, Moroth, and Chad Durbin will make his first Major League start since August of 2004. He made the team as a reliever, but now he will begin games. His value to the team has soared at the appropriate level, as has his compensation. Jeremy Bonderman's got a brand new deal, and some of that is based on potential, and the potential for Bonderman is absolutely unlimited. He'll make his first Game 1 start for the Tigers today, though he's pitched in a couple of home openers already, and he knows well of ballparks packed and partying. Bonderman, one half of a terrific opening day pitching matchup. Our look into it is brought to you by Jimmy John's. You can see that Bondo's ERA has shrunk in each successive season to the majors. It's a big step, though, to emerging as a team's ace. An opening day assignment always includes that label.
It'll be too much. I mean, changeup's going to be there, but it's not going to be that big a part of my game, really. And in my opinion, it's definitely going to help me. I mean, I can see that as a fact of, like, when I throw it in games and when I'm throwing like good pitches. I mean, I can see how it changes the bats, but in my opinion, I'm not going to throw 20 or 30 of my games. It's only going to be 10 to 12, maybe 15 tops. And you know, I think that, you know, it's definitely going to help, but you know, it's not going to you know, in my opinion, change too much. It might help me get a few more outs in the game. I mean, definitely going to help me become a better pitcher.
That, of course, Jeremy Bonderman talking about the development of a third pitch in his arsenal, a changeup, which has been the subject of much speculation over the course of last season and the beginning of this one. He has an ERA of 3.27 in games against the Blue Jays in his career, and he's won 2 and lost 1 against them. He'll have to outduel their ace, Roy Halladay. With more on the team that is in Detroit for opening day, to the Blue Jays dugout we go, and we welcome in Trevor Thompson to Tigers Live. T.
Well, Keats, thanks a lot. And you mentioned that Jeremy Bonderman was in his second opening day start for the Tigers. Well, Roy Halladay is now starting in his 5th straight opening day start for the Blue Jays. That ties him with Roy Oswalt for the Major League lead among active pitchers. Now, back in 2004, Doc Halladay faced the Tigers on opening day in Toronto and got lit up for 7 runs, only lasted 6 1/3 innings in that game in that opening day start. The Tigers did go on to win that one 7-0. Now, he'll get a lot of offensive support from the Blue Jays' big offseason acquisition, and that is Frank the Big Hurt Thomas. At 38 years old, he's still getting it done, and he proved that last year with the Oakland A's. He had 39 home runs, but he did not have a very good ALCS with the Oakland A's. Coming in here at Comerica Park, going 0 for 13 in that series, and that series ended here at Comerica Park for the Big Hurt. But he now has a 2-year contract with $18 million to put up big-time numbers for the Blue Jays on that stacked roster they've got this season. There's also one other acquisition that the Blue Jays have bringing here into Comerica Park today. A former Tiger, Matt Stairs, the lefty who ended his regular season with the Tigers last year, is now a Blue Jay. He'll give them some veteran leadership and some left-handed support from the left side. We'll wonder if he gets in the game here today. So that's your look at the Blue Jays on opening day here at Comerica Park. Keats, now back to you.
How perfect is that? Toronto native Trevor Thompson reporting on the Blue Jays as they get set to take on the Tigers. Trevor, thanks. Enjoy the day. The ballpark now filling up, and certainly some of the wow on opening day on the beginning of this season is because of how the last season ended. When we come back, the moment that is etched into all of our collective baseball memories of one home run. Maglio Ordonez was at the plate. The Oakland A's were the opponent, and Todd Jones was very near where it landed in the bullpen here at Comerica Park.
Get the ball, and I've said, you know, I think it's gone. I'm like, wow, I'm going to try to catch it. So you can see me going back. I'm trying to catch the ball, and then I realize it's 5 or 6 or 7 rows deep, and then I'm thinking, somebody hug me.
High fly ball, deep in the left. Did he do it? It's gone. It's a walk-off home run for Pudge. Well, outside of maybe your first kiss, there are a few feelings better than the walk-off homer. The Tigers won 7 of their 95 regular season games last year in walk-off fashion. 3 via the long ball. Pudge did it once. Carlos Guillen actually twice. Guillen with 2 homers and a walk-off game-winning single last season, and that's a good reason to give your starting shortstop one of those shiny new contracts. The 7 last at-bat wins were against 7 different opponents. That seems plenty of happy drama, but the Tigers were actually tied for 4th among American League teams in that regard. Boston had 10 last-gasp wins last year, and the Twins had 9. But no one had a more dramatic moment of baseball in 2006 than did Tigers right fielder Maglio Ordonez. Pink and Mags thus have something in common. Let's get this party started, because the party for 2007 began on that chilly October 14th evening when Maglio Ordonez lofted a long fly ball to left field. The Tigers were sent soaring into the World Series on a swing that everyone in the ballpark will remember for the rest of their lives.
It's hard to explain.
I was in the dugout, but I don't remember much.
He just looked like a man on a mission.
I gotta look for a pitch that I can drive. It's unexplainable. It's just hearing the bat, hearing the crowd go crazy.
It was just so cool to be a part of that.
Winning run at second base. We're in the bottom of the 9th inning. In the air, left field. The Tigers march to the World Series.
I was standing right next to Rafi Belliard, and I picked him up off the ground. And I remember telling him, we're going to the World Series.
Right at the swing of the bat, I was already running. I ran. By the time the gate opened, I was half run down the field by the ball landed. By the time the ball landed, I was running. I probably would have felt really lame if the ball didn't go out, because I'm in the outfield doing this.
I want to be the first one to touch him, man. I thought I was closer to him than I was, but I looked at a lot of the photos when he's crossing home plate, and there's some I'm not even in the photo. More people got closer to it than I thought, but I thought I was right next to him.
I was running at first base, and I didn't know whether to go across the mound and score from there or just go around, and oh, that was very fun, and that moment I will never forget.
I'm at second base. I seen what the pitch was going to be. And I mean, the look on Mag's face is he just looked locked in, and I think, wow. I start to shuffle. I seen all this. It's like I had the front row seat. I was like, I watched him pull his hand, and all of a sudden, boom, the ball comes off, and I don't know, I lost it. I just started jumping up and down.
I was like in the tunnel, just a pitcher and myself. I didn't feel any of the fans or anybody. I hit it good, but maybe I hit it. I wasn't sure, but I stand down at home plate, and I say it's going. And I throw my bat, and I run my hand like this. That was really exciting moment.
Well, I was in the bullpen with my hat on backwards, sitting on top of the fence praying. And I'm saying, oh God, just a single, just something. And then he hit the ball, and I've said, I think it's gone. I'm gonna try to catch it. So you can see me going back. I'm trying to catch the ball, and then I realize it's 5 or 6 or 7 rows deep, and then I'm thinking somebody hug me. So I'm running out the gate trying to find somebody to hug. It's precious video if anybody can find it.
Well, here's hoping for more of those rally cap moments in 2007. We're delighted to have Carrabba's as our title sponsor here on Tigers Live. And every time we talk to Mario Impemba and Rod Allen, we might have the hunger pangs because we've termed these visits setting the table. To the booth we go. Our voices of summer. Mario and Rod with more on opening day. And Happy New Year to you guys.
All right, same to you, Case. We're more of table cleaners than table setters. You've been to dinner with us, but that's beside the point. Let's talk about this Tigers team, Rod. Obviously, this is a lineup that's going to be very scary this year, and it was a lineup that was very deep last year. It was a lineup that had a couple of nice table setters at the top, and Granderson and Polanco, but one guy sticks out this year, and that's Sheffield, and boy, oh boy, he's good.
He's a huge bat. I mean, here's a guy that potentially going to the Hall of Fame. And for him to have the kind of violence that he has in his swing, but yet very rarely strike out, is a rare combination. You sit him right in front of Maglio, then you've got a Guillen, you got a Pudge Rodriguez. He's on a mission as well, talking about Sheffield. He knows exactly why this ball club went out and acquired him. They got to the World Series without him last year. He knows that he could be one of those final pieces.
All right, this team is built for the present. There's no doubt about that. They're also built for the future, though, when you consider the fact that Carlos Guillen just got a new deal. Jeremy Bonderman has a new deal. Brandon Inge was locked up. I think the Tigers and Dave Dombrowski right now are realizing you need to lock up your good young talents.
Well, first and foremost, Mr. Ilitch has allowed David Dombrowski to go out and make some of the signings that he has made. You have to lock up a youngster like Bonderman, what he possesses. He is an ace, truly an ace. Then you have Carlos Guillen at the middle of your infield. They've already locked up guys like Polanco. Brandon Inge has already been locked up. So very good signings by David Dombrowski.
Well, the Tigers are built for now. They are built for the future, and hopefully Keats, a very good 2007, an exciting 2007, is on the way. Let's go back to you.
Guys, thanks. Great to see those faces back on your television. Mario and Rod getting set for opening day. Tigers and Blue Jays coming up. We're about to unfurl a championship banner here at Comerica Park. That's a first for this particular place. You'll see it live as Tigers Live continues.
Tonight on the FSN Final Score presented by DirecTV. Who will be cutting down the nets? The Gators go for another national championship against the Buckeyes. And it's opening day across the majors. 26 teams kick off their seasons in pursuit of an illustrious World Series title. While changes in the air as new faces and new places look to make a good first impression. All that and more coming up right here tonight on the FSN Final Score.
Comerica Park is filling up. The party outside is moving inside. There will be baseball on a glorious Monday in April in downtown Detroit. The American League champions are about to be honored in front of their adoring faithful, a team that made their way through the New York Yankees and the Oakland A's, only to come up just a little bit short in the World Series. But 2007 brings brighter promise, and we're about to unveil a championship banner in our town.
Hey fans, last season your Detroit Tigers took the city, state, and its faithful followers nationwide on an exciting thrill ride into history, culminating with the American League Championship and a trip to the 2006 World Series. At this time, we direct your attention to the video board in left field as we take a moment to look back at the American League Championship season of 2006.
Tigers, Tigers, Tigers. This whole area is alive with the Tigers.
We play in a baseball city, you know, Detroit.
Yeah. Doesn't get better than this. Granderson dives and makes a fine sliding catch. Leaping Inge, guns, got him.
Nunez coming hard, he slides, makes the catch.
And that's it, a complete game shutout.
Everybody's starting to look around and is like, what's going on? We're winning all these games.
Slice to the gap in right center. Here comes Granderson. He will score. And the Tigers win.
So we must be pretty good.
The Detroit Tigers are back on the baseball map. They are in the playoffs. The feel-good story of the year, the Detroit Tigers.
The curveball, strike three call. Carlos Guillen into the home run porch at Yankee Stadium. A triple for Curtis Granderson.
We're not going to settle for coming out and performing and getting beat.
The team that was already being sent home.
Watch us play. Watch us beat your brains out every night.
Strike called. He stood there like the house by the side of the road. Bounding ball up the middle. The Tigers get another run, but the Tigers lead it 3-0. Way back! Curtis Granderson. What a postseason! Swing and a miss.
The fans are chanting, can he? Can he?
Maglio Ordonez to the deepest part of the ballpark. It's gone! Two-run shot for Craig Monroe.
We're trying to make this real interesting. We know we're an underdog.
Tigers have eliminated the Yankees.
Nobody picked us to be the Yankees.
nobody picked us to beat Oakland.
Let's go Tigers!
It's kind of like a movie, just building up to a certain point, to a climax.
Rodriguez touch a ball. Called strike 3. He struck out the side.
Line drive home run off the bat of Brandon Inge.
Line drive back through the middle.
And again, Polanco delivers. Swing and a miss. He strikes out the side. Curtis Granderson with another postseason home run, his third. Boy, this guy can just flat out hit.
Craig Monroe. Touch them all. Rogers has retired 8 in a row.
Swinging a fly ball, left field, it's deep, it's way back! The Tigers are going to the World Series! Placido Polanco, the MVP. The World Series has returned to Detroit for the first time since 1984.
Fans, in just a few moments, the official 2006 Detroit Tigers American League Championship banner will be raised on the middle flagpole located above the General Motors fountain in center field. At this time, we direct your attention to the home plate area as we are about to unveil a replica of this 2006 American League Championship banner. To unveil the 10th American League pennant in Detroit Tigers history, please welcome a player entering his 10th consecutive year of service in the Detroit Tigers system. He was Detroit's second-round pick in the 1998 draft, Tiger third baseman Brandon Inge. Joining Brandon, please welcome a veteran of more than 50 years with the Detroit Tigers minor league department and the 1996 Rawlings Woman Executive of the Year, Audrey Zielinski. Now, on the count of 3, Brandon and Audrey will unveil the 2006 American League Championship banner. Let's all count. 1, 2, 3. And now, fans, we direct your attention to the middle flagpole above the General Motors fountain in center field. For all who followed their incredible run to the World Series, the 2006 team provided fans with one of the most exciting and historic seasons in Detroit Tigers history. 95 regular season wins and an American League wildcard berth. The American League Division Series victory in 4 games over the New York Yankees. And who will ever forget the historic 4-game sweep of the Oakland Athletics in the American League Championship Series, capped off by Maglio Ordonez's walk-off home run, sending Detroit to its first World Series in 22 years. Ladies and gentlemen, we salute the 2006 American League champions, your Detroit Tigers!
Smiles in the Tigers dugout right now. They remember well 2006 as they begin to set about the challenge that is 2007. So the Tigers of this season are about to be introduced. You know those faces so well already. They're about to be introduced to the folks here at Comerica Park on opening day with the Tigers and the Blue Jays still to come. We'll show you those introductions as Detroit says welcome back to their Tigers next.
on an all-new CMI with Chris Myers. Curt Schilling takes on his critics.
I don't pitch for contracts.
And shoots from the hip.
That's how I feel, right or wrong. And if you don't like that, that's okay.
The Chris Myers Interview on FSN.
It's the first new flag Detroit has seen raised here in 23 years. There's room out there amidst those flag poles for more of them, newer, flashier flags. And that's the goal of the 2007 Tigers, who opened the season with the Toronto Blue Jays. And let's meet their starters on opening day in Detroit.
In his third season as the Blue Jays skipper, number 5, John Gibbons. Leading off and playing left field, number 3, Reed Johnson. Batting second and playing first base, number 17, Lyle Overbay. Batting third and playing center field, number 10, Vernon Wells. Batting fourth, the designated hitter today, number 35, Frank Thomas. Batting fifth and playing third base, number 25, Troy Gloss. Batting sixth and playing right field, number 15, Alex Rios. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 9, Greg Zaun, who's out in the bullpen. Batting eighth and playing second base, number 2, Aaron Hill. Batting ninth and playing shortstop, number 11, Royce Clayton. And the starting pitcher warming up in the Blue Jays bullpen, number 32, Roy Halladay. And now for your 2007 Detroit Tigers, beginning with the trainers and clubhouse staff. The head athletic trainer, Kevin Rand. Assistant athletic trainer, Steve Carter. Assistant athletic trainer, Doug Teeter. Clubhouse manager, Jim Schmeichel. Assistant clubhouse manager, John Nelson. Clubhouse assistant, Tyson Steele. Video operations, Jeremy Kelch. Video operations assistant, Andy Bjornstad. Strength coach, Javar Gillette. And the bullpen catcher is Scott Pickens out in the bullpen. And now the Tigers coaches. Number 17, Rafael Belliard. Number 55, Chuck Hernandez, out in the bullpen. Number 51, Jeff Jones, out in the bullpen. Number 22, Gene Lamont. Number 12, Lloyd McClendon. Number 18, Andy Van Slyke. And now the Tigers reserve pitchers. Number 52, Chad Durbin. Number 49, Jason Grilli. Number 59, Todd Jones. Number 41, Wilfredo Ledesma. Number 46, Mike Moran. Number 94, Jose Mesa. Number 29, Nate Robertson. Number 56, Fernando Rodney. Number 44, Bobby C. Number 35, Justin Verlander. And number 54, Joel Zumaya. The reserve catchers, number 58, Mike Rabello. And number 13, Vance Wilson. Reserve infielders, number 20, Omar Infante. And number 8, Neifi Perez. And reserve outfielder, number 33, Marcus Tim. And now the Tigers starting lineup. First, Detroit's manager in his second season as the Tiger skipper, number 10, Jim Leyland. And playing center field, number 28, Curtis Granderson. Batting second and playing second base, number 14, Placido Polanco. Batting third, the designated hitter, number 3, Gary Sheffield. Batting fourth and playing right field, number 30, Maglio Ordonez. Batting fifth and playing shortstop, number 9, Carlos Guillen. Batting sixth and catching, number 7, Pudge Rodriguez. Batting seventh and playing first base, number 21, Sean Casey. Batting eighth and playing left field, number 27, Craig Monroe. Batting ninth and playing third base, number 15, Brendan Ian. And the starting pitcher, warming up in the Tigers bullpen, number 38, Jeremy Bonderman. Fans, we now ask you to stand and direct your attention to the area behind second base for the presentation of America's colors. Presenting today's colors is the Selfridge Base Honor Guard. And fans, Bowie Kuhn, the 5th Commissioner of Baseball, passed away at the age of 80 on March 15th. He led our game for 15 years through a period of great growth and change. He laid the foundation for the success of our game that we enjoy today. He loved baseball and served it with integrity, purpose, and passion. His long life was devoted to service to others, including the least among us. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you honor the memory of Commissioner Kuhn and the causes that were important to him in observing this moment of silence. We thank you. Fans, we now ask that you remain standing as we honor Canada. Please welcome Laurie Couturier as she leads in the singing of the Canadian National Anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land, glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Fans following the American national anthem, a military flyover will take place overhead featuring Michigan Air National Guard F-16s from the 107th Fighter Squadron of Selfridge Air National Guard Base, recently back from Operation Iraqi Freedom. Fans, we ask that you remain standing as we honor America. Once again, let's welcome Lori Couturier as she leads us in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proofs through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
What a day here in downtown Detroit. A perfectly perfect weather-wise day for opening day. The 2007 Tigers getting set to take on the Blue Jays in Game 1 this afternoon. Almost more than 1 million tickets, more than last year at this time, have been sold for the 2007 Tigers season. There will be about 45,000 people wedged into Comerica Park on this day to see their team, the American League champs, take on the Blue Jays on this day. It is an animal house of a day. It is a party of a day in downtown Detroit, and today's Tiger starter, Jeremy Bonderman, will try to put all that stuff to the side as he gets the #1 assignment, as he takes on the Blue Jays in front of a rollicking Tiger faithful crowd.
Game. I don't think that's how. I think that's how you get beat. Or let yourself get beat. I mean, you can still get beat and be, and not let yourself do it. But I think that if you want to give yourself the best opportunity to win a game, you gotta concentrate for as long as you're out there on the field.
The development of Jeremy Bonderman might have been taking its largest leap in the playoffs when he went 8 1/3 innings against the New York Yankees in the playoffs last year. That's when Bonderman was sort of feeding off the efforts that Kenny Rogers was providing the Tigers, and now it's Bonderman's team. He is their ace as he gets to start Game 1. Jim Leyland is quick to add that the only #1 starter he has is the starter who is pitching on that particular day. And on this day, it is Bonderman against one of the unquestioned aces in all of baseball, Toronto's Roy Halladay. And it's a Blue Jays team that has a $90 million payroll. This is a team, after all, that finished ahead of the Red Sox in the American League East, finished second to the New York Yankees, and they are a force to be reckoned with. But we believe the 2007 Tigers are up to that task as they set about defending their American League championship. That's going to do it for the Tigers Live pregame show presented by Carrabba's on this glorious Monday. I'm John Keating. We'll turn things over to Mario and Ron. Pitch 1, Game 1 for the 2007 Tigers right around the corner on your home of Tigers. Tigers baseball, FSN Detroit. 9 hard innings is what manager Jim Leyland preached. It sure paid off as the magical 2006 season ended with an American League pennant. The joy of making it to the World Series was short-lived, losing in 5 games. But the Tigers are so much closer than they've ever known. Just waiting.
I've been waiting a long time for this moment to come. I'm destined for anything at all. Downtown, lights will be shining on me like a new diamond ring out under the midnight hour. I'm so close, enough to taste it almost. I can embrace this feeling on the tip of my tongue. Well, I'm so much closer than I have ever known. Wake up! But I think about gangsters.
Batting third, the designated hitter, number 3, Gary Sheffield.
Well, for the 4th straight season, the Tigers have added another big name to their lineup. This year is Gary Sheffield. It's a glorious day for baseball, and it's a perfect day to break open another year of Tigers baseball. Welcome to opening day, and welcome to Comerica Park. Today, we bring you the Toronto Blue Jays and your Detroit Tigers. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers baseball. Mario and Pemba alongside Rod Allen for an unprecedented year of Tigers coverage right here. We're glad to have you. We're glad to have this Tigers team. It should be a phenomenal season this year, Rod. We kick it off with Jeremy Bonderman on the hill. This is a guy that might just step it up this year and might just win 20 games.
Well, absolutely. He definitely has the stuff to go out and do that. He is making, once again, the opening day start for the Tigers. At 24 years old, he is absolutely dominant. He'll be tested, however, today against a very good Toronto Blue Jays team.
It is a party here in Detroit. It's a jam-packed house. Jeremy Bonderman on the hill for the Tigers. Roy Halladay will go for the Toronto Blue Jays. The Tigers defending their American League Championship next.
Blue Jays, Tigers, Wednesday and Thursday at 12:30.
And welcome back to Comerica Park. Here comes the first pitch of the 2007 season. The Detroit Tigers and the Toronto Blue Jays from Comerica Park on a gorgeous day for baseball. 62 degrees our game time temperature. And we're pleased to have you with us here today for the lid lifter for the 2007 campaign. Reed Johnson is in there against Jeremy Bonderman. As the Tigers begin defense of their American League Championship, Johnson last season at .319 is their leadoff man. And Bonderman's 2-0 is a little bit high. 3 balls and no strikes on Johnson. Jeremy Bonderman getting the starting nod here on opening day for the Tigers. Something that he is not unfamiliar with. The 3-0 pitch is right down the middle of strike 3 and 1 on Johnson. Sellout crowd here at Comerica Park on a gorgeous day for baseball, and what a way to break open a brand new season of Tigers baseball. Johnson stepping out on Jeremy Bonderman, facing the Jays leadoff man. A battle of 2 teams that did some pretty good things last year. The Jays had themselves a fine season. Of course, the Tigers went to the World Series. The 3-1 is low, ball 4, and it's a leadoff walk for Reed Johnson. And here is the rest of the Toronto starting lineup here today. It features Vernon Wells. He'll be batting in the 3 slot, and he is in center field. Johnson, Overbay, and Wells, followed by Thomas, Gloss, and Rios. And their bottom 3 is Zahn, Hill, and Royce Clayton. Lyle Overbay batting in the 2 slot for the Blue Jays.
New spot for Lyle Overbay. Last season batted 5th the majority of the year for the Toronto Blue Jays and drove in 92 runs.
Yeah, he's got some power out of that 2 spot, and he already has a man aboard here with nobody out, and Jeremy Bonderman perhaps a few jitters here on opening day, missing again, 1-0.
Overbay, a nice option for John Gibbons. He is the skipper of the Toronto Blue Jays, with Casey holding Reed on over at first base. Overbay, if he gets a fastball inside, he'll be trying to hit that ball between Polanco and Casey on the right side of the infield.
There's a strike in the outside corner.
And there's a look at the right side of the infield. He'll be trying to go right in that direction. Will Overbay.
Overbay, as Rod mentioned, batted lower in the lineup last year. This is a little bit of a change for him in the 2 spot. Here's the 1-1 with the runner going. It's a strike call. Throw down to second. Tag. Safe at second base. Oh, it was close. Guillen with that quick snap tag almost got him. A steal for Johnson.
May have caught Pudge off guard, and also Bonderman. Very rarely will any team decide to try to steal against Pudge Rodriguez, let alone the Blue Jays, a team not known for their speed, a team not known to run very often.
So right away, the Blue Jays now have a man in scoring position, 1-2 on Lyle Overbay. 92 driven in last year for Toronto. Overbay was saying he wished he had paid more attention to Frank Catalinato, who was batting second in their lineup last year, to see how teams pitched him in certain situations. So it's a little bit of a learning curve for Mr. Overbay in that 2 spot.
2 different hitters, Catalinato and also Overbay. Overbay does have some power and some gap-to-gap power as well. One thing that he does not want to do is really change the way that he approaches his at-bats, but he does have to pay extra attention to see how teams will try to pitch to him.
Well, he has his first RBI opportunity of the year here, and Bonderman's 1-2 in the air, hit well toward left field. This ball is a gapper. It's trouble, and it is off the wall. This will get a run in. Johnson rounding third. He'll come around to score, and Lyle Overbay has a double and an RBI, and the Blue Jays are off to a quick 1-0 lead.
Well, that's when Overbay's at his best. Gets a little 2-seam fastball running away from him, keeps his head down very nicely, and slices this ball over Monroe's head. Monroe gets to it on one hop, but nothing he could do to prevent Overbay from reaching second and Reed crossing the plate. This Blue Jays team can hit. One of the better hitting teams in all of baseball. Dangerous lineup.
And speaking of danger, here's Vernon Wells, who year in and year out is among the candidates for MVP. Had another strong year last year, and the Tigers really don't want to fall too far behind, considering the fact they're facing Roy Halladay today, a pitcher that has really done well against the Tigers. But look at the numbers from Vernon Wells last year. 32 home runs. One ball and 1 strike.
That's the pitch we'll see a lot of today. It's the slider from Bonderman. We've well documented the fact that Jeremy has started to tinker with a changeup, and he threw quite a few of them in spring training. But against a predominantly right-handed lineup, don't expect Bonderman to throw that many changeups today. He does not want to get beat with his 3rd best pitch against this ball club.
Well, he's ahead of Vernon Wells here. This is a very stacked Toronto lineup in terms of talent. You've got Thomas waiting on deck, then you've got Gloss, and you've got Alex Rios. This is a team that will score some runs, much like the Tigers, and there is the new addition to the Blue Jays, the Big Hurt.
Now, they will have some problems, however, against good right-handed pitching, and of course Bonderman would fall into that category. No disrespect to the hitters on the Blue Jays side, but there are certain right-handers that will be able to dominate this lineup.
On the ground, back up the middle and through. That's a base hit. Overbay rounding third. He'll come around and score. It's an RBI single to Vernon Wells. On a 1-2 pitch, he bangs it right back through the box.
Well, it was a nice 2-strike approach by Vernon Wells. He took a couple of huge swings on the first 2 offerings from Bonderman. You could tell he visually spread out just a little bit and was simply trying to hit this ball right back up the middle, and he did as much.
Ball wasn't really hit all that hard, and because of that, Overbay was able to come around and score. If that ball's hit sharply to Granderson in center, they probably hold him up.
Well, they need to pay some attention to Wells over at first base. And we've already seen Reed Johnson steal a base here in the very first inning. John Gibbons wants to stay out of a double play, and Frank Thomas would be a double play candidate should he hit the ball on the ground. So Wells may be off and running himself.
When we last saw Frank Thomas, he was wearing an athletics uniform in the ALCS last year. Bonderman misses inside, backing him off the plate, 1-0.
Well, that's how they pitched Frank Thomas last year in the ALCS. They crowded him with good, hard fastballs. Frank's one of those guys that's very, very dangerous if you allow him to extend his arms. He can drive the ball out of any part of the ballpark.
In tight again on the big hurt.
And Jeremy having a difficult time of finding the strike zone with his fastball here in the very first inning.
Thomas, the comeback player of the year last year. Skies this one in the air to shallow right. Ordonez on a dead sprint, and now Polanco will make the play. Placido had to go over the shoulder to make that grab. That's the first out of the ball game. One away as Thomas is retired. Here's the Dodge pitching report on Mr. Bonderman.
Well, of course, he always brings that slider with him, and he's already thrown some outstanding ones here this afternoon. He loves pitching against the Blue Jays. However, he has not been successful here in the very first inning. Their batting average career against Bonderman just 195, and he is now the leader, and it's time for him to step up.
Here's Troy Glaus. He checked in with 38 home runs last year for the Blue Jays.
That's one thing about this Blue Jays lineup. They do have some double play candidates in Thomas and Troy Glaus, some of the guys that don't run very well. You know they're not going to bunt. They're not going to hit and run. That's why very, very important to pay attention to Wells at first. Do not let him steal second base.
Well, Vernon, one of the few guys last year that really ran semi-regularly. He had 17 steals. And there he goes. Here comes Pudge with his second opportunity. On the money, safe. The second stolen base in the inning for the Blue Jays, a team that doesn't run at all, and Johnson and Wells have swipes.
Well, John Gibbons, their manager, knows the fact that he's got some double play candidates. This is a real good pitch to throw here. The one thing that Pudge did there, he opened up his front shoulder a little bit prematurely, and that caused the ball not to carry all the way on the fly to Guillen while he was trying to apply the tag. As a catcher, you've got to keep that front shoulder locked and loaded as long as possible so you can get some carry on your throw.
Now an RBI opportunity for Glaus. That's popped up. Right side of the infield where Polanco is stationed. 2 outs.
How about 2 stolen bases against Bonderman and Pudge Rodriguez here in the first inning? There were stretches last year where teams did not attempt to steal a base in a week against Pudge.
And on top of that, it's the Blue Jays that turn the trick. Not exactly one of the teams you worry about when you start a series against and having them run all over the place. Here's Alex Rios with 2 outs.
Alex Rios was off to an exceptional year last year, made the All-Star team as a matter of fact, but could not play in the game. He had a staph infection in his lower leg, and really after he came back off the disabled list, he was not the same guy. Again.
Goes the runner to third. High fly ball into shallow left field. It's going to be trouble, and it's going to drop between Guillen and Monroe, and another run will score. That seemed to be a routine pop-up. It may have been played a little bit by the wind, but Craig Monroe and left never just got there.
Well, there's a lot of wind up there this afternoon. We saw a play earlier, and Polanco had to make the play on the other side. Here, Guillen, you could see he needs some help, and Craig just assumed that this ball is going to be caught by Carlos. But again, a lot of wind up there above the scoreboard, playing and wreaking a little havoc on that ball. But let alone that ball needs to be caught.
Well, Bonderman responds by getting 3 pop-ups, but one of them drops in. And now he'll face Greg Zaun. And the Jays have a chance to add another with a base hit. Strike call to the outside corner. Not quite the start the Tigers had hoped for here, along with Bonderman, but we got the offense certainly to put up a few points of their own. 3 runs, 3 hits in this first inning for Toronto. Zahn batting in the 7th slot in their lineup. The well-traveled Greg Zahn is played in both leagues. That's on the ground to first, and right there is Casey, who bobbles, stays with it. Bonderman covers for the out to retire the side. 3 runs in the inning on 3 hits. They'll strand a man. We got the jitters out. Let's get the offense going. Well, there's a little bit of work to do here as we go to the bottom of the first inning. Gary Sheffield and the Tigers getting set to take their first swings against Roy Halladay. Here's the Tigers starting 9 today. It features Gary Sheffield, the DH, batting in the 3 spot. They'll have Granderson, Polanco, and Sheffield at the top. In the middle today, it'll be Ordonez, Guillen, and Pudge Rodriguez. 7-8-9 features Casey Monroe and Brandon Inge. Here's the scouting report on the tough Roy Halladay.
Well, Halladay couldn't throw a ball straight if he wanted to. He's got some nasty sink on his sinker ball and also some cutters. He likes to run it on the left-handers. Pudge Rodriguez has had a lot of success against him in his career. And one key for the Blue Jays and Halladay, he must stay healthy this year if they're going to make a legitimate run at the American League East.
Halladay 10-2 against the Tigers lifetime entering the 07 season. And speaking of unable to throw a ball straight, a lot of movement on that last pitch. 0-2. Curtis Granderson in the leadoff slot, batted .260 last year for the Tigers. And they'll try and get something going against Halladay here. This is a very talented Tigers lineup. And when the Tigers were playing their best last season, this guy got the offense going. Off the inside part of the plate.
Well, a lot of baseball obviously to be played here this afternoon on opening day. And as good as Halladay is, he is going up against one of the best offenses in all of baseball, in my opinion.
Well, it'll be interesting this year to see the progression that Curtis Granderson will make, because obviously he put together one heck of a season last year. Is there room for improvement? Always is, and Curtis admits that. He would like to cut down the strikeouts. Slice toward left center field. It's down, a base hit. Granderson gets down to the count 0-2 and comes back with a single to left center.
You know, you talked about him wanting to cut down his strikeouts, and this is the perfect indication of how he's going to do it this year. He chokes up a little bit on the bat with 2 strikes. He got the idea from Lloyd McClendon. He keeps his head down. You see his hands on the bat. They're choked up just a hair. Perfect concentration, perfect swing. He will cut down his strikeouts this year.
There is nothing wrong with choking up, is there? I mean, you look at the top 2 guys in this Tigers lineup, and they both do it. Here's Polanco.
I think for the longest time, people thought, especially power hitters, that you lose power when you do choke up. But you look at guys like Pujols from time to time with 2 strikes, and of course everybody knows Barry Bonds chokes up on his bat, and those 2 guys, they still have a tremendous amount of power.
Yeah, they got a little power, don't they? This guy will battle you here at the plate. Placido Polanco, what a year he had last year, and it was a pleasure to watch him play for an entire season. We really got to see what Polanco was all about offensively.
He has some of the best hand-eye coordination in all of baseball. Very seldom does he strike out. Always puts bat on the ball, which is one of the reasons why Jim Leyland will use him a lot in hit-and-run situations.
That makes him the ideal number 2 hitter. He was the MVP of the ALCS last year. It's the first time he's faced Halladay. No prior history, at least in a regular season game against the Blue Jays right-hander. Halladay again has gotten ahead in the count. Little chopper hits slowly back to the mound. Halladay has only 1 play, and the runner will advance. Let's take a look at the Blue Jays defense. Is brought to you by Rico this afternoon. They have Reed Johnson out there in left field. 64 starts this year. He's in there every day. Wells in center, Rios in right, Gloss and Clayton along with Hill and Overbay on the infield, and Zahn and Halladay your battery. And the big round of applause is for the new guy, Gary Sheffield.
Talking to Gary before the game, and I was asking him, how will you approach Roy Halladay? He said you have to make him get the ball up because he has such great movement at the bottom of the strike zone. So that's his game plan. Make him get it up in the strike zone. And we know what he can do when he gets something that he can handle.
Oh, yeah. And wouldn't it be nice to see him get welcomed here at Comerica Park by this crowd after hitting a home run here in his first at bat? Sheffield was limited last year in playing time because of the bad wrist. He is fully healthy now. And Halladay has fallen behind 2-0.
Now that's the uncanny ability of a guy like Gary Sheffield that has such viciousness in his swing while standing in that batter's box, but yet take very close pitches.
Well, there's no question that Sheffield will help just about everybody in this lineup, but the guy that really seems to benefit a lot from Sheffield is Maglio Ordonez, who's waiting on deck. It's just another run producer in the middle of that lineup for Detroit.
Well, Maglio should hit a bunch this year with runners in scoring position.
That's outside, and the count goes to 3-1. Halladay being very careful here. Sheffield can get you back into this ball game with one swing of the bat.
One of the best right-handed pitchers in the game going up against one of your better right-handed hitters in the game. What a matchup. 3-1. Let's go.
Broke his bat, rolled it to third. Scooped there by Gloss. So Halladay wins that battle. 2 away.
Well, kind of gives you an idea of the stuff that Halladay has. You will not see Gary Sheffield get sawed off on many occasions. It's 3-1. He gives him a fastball right down the middle, and Gary just a little bit tardy on it, gets sawed off. But not often will you see that, especially in a predictable count like 3-1, when Gary knows he's going to get a fastball.
Well, 2 gone. Granderson remains at second base, and here's Ordonez. Tigers would love to respond and at least get one of the runs back here in the first inning. They gave up 3 in the top half of inning number 1.
As Halladay has already seen in this very first inning, Jim Leyland's ball club can hit, and they're patient to a certain degree. No easy outs in this lineup. Something else to watch for as well, Mario. I don't know how many pitches Halladay's already thrown in this game, but the Tigers will be doing their best to try to get him out of this game by the 5th or 6th inning by having some lengthy, making him throw a lot of pitches in any one inning.
17 already, to answer your question.
It's more than the average.
Another broken bat. This one is a foul ball. So Halladay now has claimed 2 Tigers bats here in the first inning.
Well, Halladay's ball starts out like it's going to be on the outside corner. And because he has such good movement, the ball runs right back in on some of the right-handers. And the last 5 feet, those last 5 feet are where you cannot determine. You see ball over the plate, next thing you know, you start to swing and the ball runs in on you. That's one of the things that makes Halladay so tough to hit.
Mags last year led the Tigers in RBIs with 104. Ground ball left side, diving stop by Royce Clayton. Nice play to save a run, and the Tigers are turned back in the first inning. No runs and a hit. They'll strand a man. Let's go to the second. 3-0 Jays. Tigers baseball on FSN Detroit is brought to you by Comerica. We listen, we understand, we make it work. Dodge, you can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. And by your Chrysler and Jeep Superstores. 62 our game time temp today. As per usual on opening day here in the Motor City, it is jam-packed. People are having a great time, and hopefully the numbers will turn around a little bit. The Blue Jays have run out to a 3-0 lead. Jeremy Bonderman back for his second inning of work. It'll be Hill, Clayton, and Reed Johnson against the right-hander. Happy to have you along this year in what will be a really an unprecedented year of coverage for Tigers baseball. We'll have a total of 151 Tigers games on the air for you this year. 1 ball, 1 strike on Aaron Hill, batted .291 last year. Had himself a real good month of July last season. In fact, he led the American League at .361 last July. Just about the time of the year where guys start to get a little bit tired. You get into July and August, and those that really can put up good numbers in the second half are sometimes few and far between as the toll of the season begins to wear you down a bit. Jeremy just hadn't been all that sharp with his command here early on. 2-2 on Banda, or on Hill from Banda. Well, it was a big year for Bonderman last year in terms of a lot of the different categories. He was one of those guys that threw well beyond 200 innings. Started 34 games, both career highs. 202 strikeouts. And he draws the opening day start here in front of a packed house. Fly ball in the air to center. There's Granderson. 1 away. Tigers defense today brought to you by Chrysler Jeep, and there's Pudge Rodriguez, owner of 12, count them, 12 career Gold Gloves. Monroe, Granderson, and Ordonez in the outfield. Inge, Guillen, Polanco, and Casey on the infield, and then Pudge and Bonderman forming your battery today. It's flared toward right field, sailing foul back into the seats. Off the bat of Royce Clayton, who was a free agent pickup by the Blue Jays this offseason.
It's a nice pickup by the Blue Jays. And you get a look at his numbers from a season ago, 258. If he does that again, they'll be happy. But what he can do is really catch the baseball. You saw that play that he made on off the bat of Maglio to end the inning.
Yeah, that saved a run, I think.
Royce is a superior defender.
There are the particulars on Mr. Clayton, who is 37 years old now, and it seemed like long ago. He was a #1 pick of the San Francisco Giants. Sliced again the other way. This one stays fair as it goes to right field, and a 1-out hit.
It's a fastball that he didn't quite get where he wanted to get it. He gave Royce Clayton too much of an opportunity to get bat on the ball, and Clayton waiting that split second longer because he had 2 strikes, able to slice that ball the other way. You know, you bring up a great point talking about Bonderman and his ability to pitch 200+ innings, Mario. He's got big legs. He's a legitimate ace out there. And that's where he gets the majority of his power from, those big, strong, muscular legs that he has.
And of course, Jeremy was signed to that 4-year deal in the offseason, and so he knows now that going forward, he will be a Detroit Tiger. They have taken care of him. Breaking ball missed inside. 1-0 on Reed Johnson.
Well, it's not often that we will say you have to watch Toronto Blue Jays because they're a running ball club, because they have not been that in the last 5 years, at least since J.P. Ricciardi has been their general manager. But already a couple of steals in the very first inning by Blue Jays players if you're just joining us.
Well, I think there's been a little bit of change in direction in terms of the money ball term that is thrown around for certain GMs around there, and of course J.P. Ricciardi, I think, kind of fell into that in terms of how they described him, along with Billy Beane. But we saw something in the first inning that we haven't seen very often. A couple of steals. There's Dave Dombrowski, of course, the architect of last year's Tigers World Series team. But all GMs, I think, have their own thoughts on how things should go, and the type of ball club they want. Jim Leyland has said often that he would like a little bit more speed, but you know what? This team has so much power, so you just utilize those strengths.
Well, most teams in the American League are built just like the Tigers are built, for the long haul, to outslug you.
Ooh, it looked like he went around, but he didn't. Chuck Merriweather down at first said he held up.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Clayton take off on this 2-1 offering to Reed Johnson. Johnson does have some power, but anytime you can get yourself in a situation where you know you're going to get a pitch that's close to the plate, and you could put a runner in motion, you'll do that as a manager.
And there he goes, and it's tapped foul right down the third base line. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, we have seen that John Gibbons is trying to stay out of some double plays here.
John Gibbons is going to try to score as many runs as he can because he knows how tough Bonderman can be once he settles in, and Bonderman will settle in and put up some zeros. And he also knows the Tigers have a very good offensive ball club that is capable of putting up runs, even though he has his ace on the mound in Roy Halladay. One thing that they do have, they have Bonderman paying more attention to the base runners over at first base than he would normally want to.
Johnson walked, stole a base, scored in the first inning. Not going this time, and Bonderman misses way inside. 3 balls and 2 strikes now on Johnson.
Well, you have to be careful anytime you go inside on Johnson. He has been known to take one for the team. He was hit a league high 21 times last year with Johnson.
You know, he had 2 separate games last year in which he was hit 3 times in a game.
Wow.
So you're right. He's not afraid to take one for the team. Runner goes on 3-2, and it's popped up. Pudge is going to squeeze it for the out. Look out if you hurry. They had a chance at a double play, but Pudge didn't even look to first.
Well, Bonderman has to help him there. Bonderman has to get a little bit closer to Pudge Rodriguez. He had plenty of time to close the gap, and Bonderman running with a swivel on his head, he should have seen that Clayton was pretty close to second base. Now Bonderman has to take a look to see where Clayton is and also help Pudge Rodriguez out. With the crowd yelling at the level that it's yelling at right now, it may have been tough from a distance for him to hear Bonderman, but Bonderman has to get closer to him to tell him what to do with the baseball.
Well, I think you would have had him easily.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, he was on the move there and was tardy in getting back. 2 gone. Here's Overbay. Challenged him there with a heater. 0-1. Jays got 3 in the very first inning. This is a Toronto team that last year won 87 ball games and finished 10 games out. In second place in the American League East behind the New York Yankees.
Well, they've gone out and spent a lot of money the last couple of years. Their payroll now is up to $90 million. Just 2 years ago it was $45 million. So Ted Rogers, their owner, has opened the pocketbooks up and allowed J.P. Ricciardi to go out and get all the pieces that he needs to try to compete with the Boston Red Sox and New York Yankees of the world in the AL East.
Well, and GMs will tell you it's only one facet of the game to have the owner say, okay, go spend the money. Now you've got to spend it intelligently and wisely and improve your ball club in areas that need improvement.
Not only the American League East, but if you're in the American League period, you pretty much know that if you're going to get to the World Series, you've got to go through Boston or the New York Yankees at some point in time. And now a lot of people believe you may have to go through Detroit as well.
Well, Bonderman falls behind again, 3-1 on Lyle Overbay. There's the skipper, Jim Leyland, who received a healthy round of applause in the pregame player introductions.
And deservedly so. Last year's manager of the year.
We'll talk a little bit about this in spring training and how much of an effect and how many games a manager can affect in a season. I think most managers don't believe they have that big of an influence, but I think with Jim Leyland, it's a bit of a different story. Runner will go on 3-2, and it's outside, ball 4, so the struggles continue for Bonderman.
Well, Chuck Hernandez is going to have to go out and have a visit with Mr. Bonderman, and there he goes. And what a job he did last year. Just a miraculous job by a first-year pitching coach with the Detroit Tigers.
A little bit underappreciated, not maybe amongst those that follow the team or that are associated with the team. They all know the job that Chuck did last year, but you know, he's a guy that we don't often talk a whole lot about. But for Jim Leyland, he is the liaison between the skipper and his pitching staff.
He was the only member of Jim Leyland's staff last year who Jim had no really prior knowledge of what Chuck Hernandez brought to the table. Everybody else on Jim's staff either played for him or worked for him while he was in Pittsburgh, Florida, or Colorado. But Chuck Hernandez, what a job he has done and continues to do to mold one of the best staffs in all of baseball.
Well, he's got himself a pretty good rotation to deal with, even though Kenny Rogers is out at this point. He still has the Bonderman. He still has a Verlander. He still has Mike Maroth, who should put together a pretty good year. Nate Robertson, who was outstanding last year. And hopefully Chad Durbin can fill in. Vernon Wells down to his knees as Bonderman continues to pitch the big boys inside.
Well, he's having a difficult time commanding his two-seam fastball. What he may want to do is throw a few more four-seam fastballs. The four-seam fastball has plenty enough giddy up on it to get in on some of these right-handers. And the four-seam fastball, for those of you that do not know, it's more of a straight fastball versus that one we just saw that runs in on the right-handers.
Well, to be fair, Bonderman has run into a little bit of bad luck as well, because he should have had the third out on the ball that dropped in to the left that scored a run in the first inning, and this pop-up earlier in this half inning should have and could have resulted in a double play to get him out of the inning. This is going to be the 46th pitch, and it's in the air and hit toward right field. Ordonez is going to have room to retire the side. So the Jays threaten, do not score. Here comes the bottom of the second in downtown Detroit. 3-0 Toronto in the second. Let's check in with John Keating, who right now has a guest that is really rooting hard for Gary Sheffield today.
Absolutely, Mario. The last time we saw DeLeon Sheffield, she was singing the national anthem before the Tigers-Yankees playoff game, and actually had to do it twice because of a rainout. Welcome to Detroit.
Thank you.
How nervous was your husband before this game?
Before this game today?
Before this game, yeah.
I think not nervous at all. I think he's just coming in. He's coming in to do everything that he can to bring back a championship for Detroit. So
you have a recording career that's in full blossom right now. You get traded from New York, your family does, to Detroit, which has a music reputation of its own. How good is that for your career?
I think it's great. I'm looking for all the opportunities available to me here in Detroit. It's definitely a music town, Motown. All the gospel greats are here, so I'm definitely looking forward to being here.
One out in the inning after a ground ball to the shortstop. Well, Gary tells you that there's a chance that he's going to be traded. You have kids, you have a life in New York. How taxing can it be for the better half of a ball player to be told we're moving again?
It's a little taxing because you get attached to areas that you play in, from Los Angeles, New York, Atlanta, and you get friends there, and your children get plugged in there. But it is what it is. So you pack up and you hit the next spot.
And the next spot is here, and welcome to Detroit. We appreciate your time. If you want to listen to DeLeon Sheffield's music, just go to DeLeonMusic.com. We send it back to Mario and Rod, guys.
All right, Keats, thanks very much. Now we get it on very good authority that Mrs. Sheffield can really sing.
Yeah, she had a concert in spring training in Tampa, and several of the players, along with Jim Leland, were in attendance. And I remember talking to Gary Sheffield about that, and he was not sitting where Jim Leland was sitting, but he said he saw the skipper's bald head down there bobbing and weaving. Getting his groove on.
There he is. He's been known to cut a rug every now and then.
Yeah, he's a funny man. He's a great man.
Pudge slings it in the air to shallow center, and Vernon Wells is going to run it down.
And Vernon Wells is just one of those guys that you just don't hear a whole lot about, other than the fact that he just signed the 7th richest baseball contract in history at $126 million. But this guy, he looks like a corner outfielder. He has big legs. He's big and strong and physical, but he's won 3 straight Gold Gloves, and he is one of the best players in the game.
Well, we saw Andrew Jones in spring training. He's built along the same lines, a big, sturdy guy, and a ton of Gold Gloves between those two. That, by the way, was Halliday's 3rd broken bat already in this game, as he got Pudge to fly out to center. Here's Sean Casey with 2 outs. Casey hit 8 home runs total last season. Of course, this will be his first full season with the Tigers. He had other opportunities to go elsewhere in this offseason, but boy, when you plug him into this lineup, he should have himself a pretty good year.
Wise decision by Casey to come back. Obviously, he feels like Detroit has a legitimate chance of getting back to the World Series, but that and the fact that he signed just a one-year contract, if he goes out and has a very nice year this year, he'll get himself a 3- or 4-year deal after the season's over with.
Slice toward left, base hit. Casey puts bat on ball and has the Tigers' second hit of the game.
That's one of the few pitches that Halladay has gotten up in the strike zone this afternoon. And Casey, with that 2-strike approach, hanging breaking ball, just keeps his head down nicely and takes what Halladay gives him.
It is awfully nice to have a guy in your lineup that last year hit 28 home runs and is batting in the 8th spot this year, and that is Craig Monroe, at least for this game.
One of the points that we brought up last half inning. There are no easy outs in this Tigers lineup. And boy, did Craig hit some huge home runs last year for the Detroit Tigers. So many, in fact, his nickname, Mr. Clutch.
Career highs in home runs, RBIs, doubles. And Jim Leyland says over and over and over that this guy is just scratching the surface and that he can become so much better. And this season we just might see that. And I think it's going to help a little bit as well in that Leyland said that he is going to play left field and left field only. There you see the Tigers team leaders last year in homers. Most of those guys hit lower in the lineup, at least the top 3 did. But Craig won't be playing any center field this year. He's locked into left. Down he goes. Halladay gets him swinging and missing, and the Tigers are retired. They get a hit, strand a man, 2 in the books on opening day. Jays lead by 3.
Catch Tigers Live coming up next.
For those of you just joining us, let's get you caught up. Back in the first inning, Reed Johnson walked to lead off the ball game. He came home to score after stealing a base on the double by Lyle Overbay. Vernon Wells then singled up the middle to drive in Overbay. And then you've got Rios popping up in the shallow left field. The wind appeared to catch this ball. It drops in, and Vernon Wells also scored, and he stole a base in the first inning. So 2 stolen bases in the first inning today against Bonderman and Rodriguez.
And that lead has held up to this point as we go to the top of the 3rd with Frank Thomas leading it off. It'll be Thomas, Kloss, and Rios facing Bonderman. Jeremy just hoping for a quick 1-2-3 inning here to get his pitch count back in order. 1 ball and 1 strike on Thomas, who he got to pop up back in the first inning.
Well, we told you, and we have well documented the fact that even before they got Frank Thomas, the Blue Jays were a lethal offensive ball club led by Mickey Brantley, their hitting coach. He's got a really nice approach. Him and John Gibbons are best of friends. And now when you add in a big bat like Frank Thomas right in the middle of that lineup, a guy that'll walk and drive in 100 runs, it makes him that much better.
That is the 50th pitch already for Bonderman as we play here in the 3rd.
It is the equivalent of the Tigers adding a Gary Sheffield.
Well, I don't want to say we were surprised at all by what Frank Thomas did last night, because, or last year, I should say, because certainly we know what he has done in his career. But was there any part of you, Rod, that was a little bit surprised, especially going to a new team with the monster numbers he put up?
Well, I guess I would be a little bit surprised because the previous 2 years to 06, he was injured. He had a bad ankle. He just wasn't really performing. But what it showed us is the fact that Frank Thomas, when healthy, is still one of the best run producers in the game of baseball today.
And he is battling Bonderman here as we lead things off in the 3rd.
And Billy Beane out in Oakland signed Frank Thomas to a $500,000 contract last year. He made about $2.5 million in incentives and bonuses, but clearly the best bargain in all of baseball last year was Thomas.
Well, I can't think of a bigger one. Down he goes. Pudge will have to throw to complete it. 1 away. Hey fans, every Friday get a look around the major leagues with FSN Baseball Report. It covers every team with highlights, interviews, and insight all season long. Catch FSN Baseball Report Friday at 6 right here on FSN Detroit. One up, one away. Bonderman has strikeout number 1. Jeremy will rack up a few of those along the way. He had 202 strikeouts last year. He's a guy that's known to strike out every now and then, but he's also known to hit it out of the park every now and then as well. Troy Gloss.
And Bonderman just having a tough time getting ahead of some of these Blue Jays hitters, and what that does.
Pop straight up. Shallow center Guillen, and Granderson, the center fielder, calls him off.
And by not getting ahead of guys like Gloss, you put them in predictable counts where they know they're going to get that fastball at least around the plate, and that's when they do the majority of their damage.
So on a day like today, if you're a Blue Jays hitter and you see that Bonderman has not had good control or command early in the count, you're more likely to take early in the count.
Well, you just locate one area where you think he may be throwing you, which is your happy zone, whether it be middle in or middle away. And if he gives you something there on the first pitch, you attack it. But other than that, you try to display some patience.
Alex Rios with 2 outs.
And there are many people that follow this Blue Jays team that believe that this guy is going to be a star. And we told you last year he made the All-Star team for the very first time, former #1 draft choice, and John Gibbons is one of those that is a huge Alex Rios fan.
I'd take him. He's a good player. You talk about that staph infection, which really shut him down the second half of the season. But going into the All-Star break, he was outstanding. This one might hang up long enough, and it does for Craig Monroe in left. 1-2-3 inning for Bonderman. Boy, did he need that. Let's go to the bottom of the third. Tigers trying to get the bats going.
Grand slam home run, Craig Monroe. Kenny Rogers dove to first, and he got him. Magglio Ordonez line drive down the left field line. Harry Sheffield. Gone, a home run. Toss it to Polanco. Line to the right center field. It's going to drop for a base hit. First pitch to Pudge. Tigers win!
This Wednesday, ring in the new season as the Tigers are presented with their 2006 AL Championship rings in a special pregame ceremony. Then see the Tigers battle the Blue Jays. Call 866-66-TIGER or go to tigers.com for tickets. Who's your Tiger?
Here come the Tigers in a 3-0 Toronto lead, bottom of the third. Let's check in with John Keating. He's hanging out in the suites with some very important people.
All right, Mario, thanks. Kirk Maltby, one of the best softball players on the Red Wings and certainly one of the biggest baseball fans. He's with Ella. How many ball games has Ella been to?
This is about our 7th or 8th since last year, and now obviously the first one this year. So we'll get to about a half dozen or so this year.
Well, this 3-0 start is not the start the Tiger fans were hoping to see.
No, and they're up with a tough pitcher with Holiday, but they got some offensive skills. So I'm not too sure that this 3-0 lead isn't something they can overcome.
You're a good Canadian lad with the Blue Jays, your baseball team once upon a time.
Yeah, they you know, that's a team I cheered for and watched growing up, and still cheer for them. But in this situation and this year, the way things are going, definitely you know, going to be on the Tiger side.
All right, a little cross promotion. We have your game against the Blue Jackets on FSN Detroit tomorrow. How goes the final stages of the regular season with the playoffs right around the corner?
Yeah, you know, 3 games left, and we were just trying to get on top of our game and get this thing rolling. And but first and foremost, try and stay healthy. You know, we already took a big hit with Cronwell, and it's going to be fun to get these playoffs, but hopefully we're healthy.
All right, maybe a little bit of a rally brewing here at Comerica. Maltz, we appreciate your time. Mario, back to you.
Hey, Keith, thanks very much. I think Kirk meant to say the Tigers have a pretty good offense, and that's going to go as an error on that last play.
That ball was hit awfully hard, and what happened here, the ball trickled right in front of Hill, and by the time he got to it, Brandon Inge, hustling on that batter's box, was able to get to first base safely.
So the Tigers get the leadoff man on. They'll swing it around to the top of the order now. Curtis Granderson. Granderson singled off Halladay back in the first inning.
We'll see how Jim Leyland wants to play this situation with a couple of bat handlers coming to the plate in Polanco, who's in the on-deck circle, and of course Granderson standing there. Halladay works at the bottom of the strike zone. If you don't put runners in motion, guys will hit into double plays.
There goes the runner, and it's a bouncing ball hit back up the middle. Scooped there nicely by Hill. The throw is in time for the out.
Outstanding call by Jim Leyland. The one thing that you can't afford to do is hit into double plays against a guy like Halladay. Even with a 3-run deficit, he still puts Inge in motion, and the ball almost gets through. It's a very good play by Hill.
Having said all that, it was a terrific play by Hill. That ball almost got through. Tigers again have a man in scoring position. Here's Polanco to try and cash in.
And Polanco was the best Tigers hitter last year with runners in scoring position. I'd love to see him come through here.
I mentioned that Halladay has been tough on the Tigers over his career. How tough? How about 10-2 with a 1.85 ERA? And when you look up and down the Tigers lineup, there aren't too many guys that have good batting averages against Halladay, and that can be said about most teams, however. 0-2 on Polanco.
He's just got a lot of late life on that two-seam fastball that he throws. In the past, Halladay has thrown a lot of cut fastballs, which cuts away from the right-handers, barrel of the bat in on left-handers' hands. But talking to some people associated with Toronto today, they said he's not going to throw that pitch that often this year because it presents problems for his forearm.
Line drive to right, base hit. They're going to hold the runner at third base. And maybe wisely so. Inge thought about coming home, but Gene Lamont, with only one out, held him up.
Polanco is just a tremendous bat handler with 2 strikes. He shortens up. He just tries to slice this ball the other way, which he does. And then you've got Rios in the outfield, arguably one of your better right field throwing arms in all of baseball. Gene Lamont said, no, 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 no. You stay here, son.
It's a whole lot easier to throw those arms up in the air and tell your runner to stay when you have Gary Sheffield coming to the plate.
You have to know the situation as a third base coach. You would hate to get someone thrown out at home plate, as you mentioned, with this bat in the batter's box.
Jays clinging to their 3-0 lead. We're in the third. Sheffield drills it in the air high toward left, but this is going to hook and go foul. 0-1 on Gary. Sheffield had his bat broken in his first at bat. He's 0 for 1 with a ground out.
Gary has said on many occasions when he is standing in the batter's box, he is not trying to hit a single. He said he likes to try.
That's the best way to put it, isn't it?
That's exactly what he said. He said, partner, I'm trying to try. I don't want to exert more energy than I have to.
I'll make 4 quick left turns and I'm back in the dugout. 1-1 on Sheffield. Line drive, left field, sinking, gonna be caught by the left fielder Johnson. This will score a run though as Inge tags and trots home, and the first RBI for Sheffield as a Tiger, 3-1.
You can hang some laundry on that bad boy. That was an absolute frozen rope. 3-iron. Goodness gracious. This ball, Mario, probably doesn't get about 7 feet off the ground. You talk about this. Well, what an RBI machine.
Johnson had played very deeply and left and moved over a couple of steps and caught that line drive. And here is Ordonez. So the Tigers break through against Halladay. The error by the second baseman Hill, part of that scoring opportunity.
Pretty good pitch there by Halladay to Sheffield. It was at the bottom of the strike zone, but Gary went down and got it very nicely.
You're talking about Halladay not throwing as many cutters this year because of the forearm problem he had. Early on in spring training this year, he basically threw 2 pitches to try and prepare for that. Threw a lot of fastballs and some changeups to see if he could get by with just 2 pitches, and to in some ways train himself to get by with 2 pitches instead of throwing a lot of those cutters. And that really is what shut him down late last year, the forearm problem, but they tracked back to throwing that pitch. 1-1 on Maggs. He really wasn't a fan of that call. A little silent protest as he steps out. Home plate umpire is Rick Reed today. See this one gets back into the seats. Overbay giving chase. It's back out of play. Hey, here's some inside information today brought to you by Esurance Online Auto Insurance. Roy Halladay is making his 5th opening day start, 5 in a row, which is tied for most among active pitchers. The other guy that's tied with him over in the National League, Roy Oswalt.
He's pretty good too, Mr. Oswalt.
Well, if you're looking at Cy Young candidates, I know Santana is in the American League as well, and he's got a good shot. Those two guys, in their respective leagues, have a pretty good opportunity to win that award.
You know, you were saying a couple of innings ago just the value of Jim Leyland and how many wins he was responsible for the Tigers getting last year by his managerial moves. I tell you what, give him credit for Brandon Inge scoring right there, because the hit and run with Granderson, that would have been a double play ball had Inge not been running, and the Tigers would not be on the board as of right now. So Jim Leyland definitely gets guys in positions to succeed.
Well, they have their impacts, managers do. A lot of them don't like to take credit. Leyland is one of those guys. Players win games, he will tell you. The runner will be going here on 3-2. And it's hit to the left side. Beats it out of the reach of Troy Glaus. Here come the Tigers now. Ordonez has a 2-out hit.
Well, it's very, very tough to get yourself in a situation where you sort of force Halladay into throwing the ball right over the heart of the plate. But Maglio did just that by laying off some very difficult 2-strike pitches to get the count to 3-2 to get the crippled fastball right down the middle.
That'll set up Carlos Guillen with the tying runs aboard. He grounded to the shortstop, his only time up, 0 for 1. It's not as if the Tigers haven't had opportunities against Halladay today. They had a hit in the first, they had a hit in the second, and now have strung together a couple of hits here for a run. Jeremy Bonderman had that rocky first inning trying to straighten things out, had a 1-2-3 thirds, so maybe he's on the way to shutting down this Jays offense the rest of the way. 1-1 on Guillen. Sheffield's RBI has put the Tigers on the board. His first Tigers run batted in. The first of what I would imagine would be many this year. You look at Sheffield and Ordonez, and two pretty good candidates to knock in over 100 this season.
You can write it down right now if they stay healthy.
Strike called, 1-2 on Carlos Guillen.
I don't think Zahn liked that last pitch, but Rick Reed very, very generous this afternoon to Halladay on the corners. That's just a breaking ball that sort of catches the outside corner. Guillen thought the ball was away and was going to stay away and gave up on it. If you're Carlos, you may have to drive the ball the other way, because every pitch that Halladay has thrown him in this at-bat has been away from him. He's not going to give him anything to pull. There's a lot of room down that third baseline as well. Troy Glaus playing well off the line. If he was to go down in that area somewhere, you see Glaus at third, well off the line, which tells you that they think that Carlos is a pull hitter. My line's a little bit crooked today, partner.
You better get that straightened out. It is opening day. You got about 161 of these to get that straightened out.
My circle wasn't a good circle. My line's a little bit crooked.
Did you go to WrestleMania last night?
I did not go to WrestleMania last night. There was a whole lot of folks that were downtown, though.
Walking crooked after that. 1-2 on Guillen. Polanco, the runner at second base, and the tying run is Ordonez at first. In the air, hit well to right field. On the move is Rios, going back. He's going to make the catch in front of the marker in right center field. Boy, the end gave it a ride, but just a little bit short. Tigers are on the board. 3-1 Toronto as we go to the bottom of the fifth inning. Mario and Rod back in the ballpark here. And Rod, if we could do a do-over here, we'd take that first inning and we'd toss it out and start all over. But aside from that, Bonderman has really settled in.
Yeah, he really has. But you got to give the Toronto Blue Jays some credit because they did something in that very first inning, and they sort of caught the Tigers off guard. They stole a couple of bases. They knew if they allowed Bonderman to settle in, he could be tough, as he has been the last 3 innings. But now the Tigers have got their work cut out for them against a guy like Halladay, who they have tinkered with the last couple of innings. So they can get to Halladay.
Yeah, they've had to scratch and claw, and they did a little bit of that when they got a run in the 3rd inning. And who knows, maybe they can get going again. They certainly have the offense to do it.
Well, he's a good pitcher. As a matter of fact, he's a great pitcher. But the Tigers, in my opinion, have one of the better and more balanced offenses in all of baseball. And they just need to a couple of bloops and a blast here, and they'll take the lead.
Brandon Inge is leading it off. He'll be followed by Granderson and Polanco. Each team with 4 hits this afternoon. Pudge Rodriguez not too familiar with teams running on him early, and that's what the Blue Jays did in that first inning, stealing a couple of bases on the guy that was better than anybody in the American League and throwing runners out last year.
You know he's not happy right now.
Well, still plenty of time to go in this one. We're playing in the bottom of the 5th. Just missed outside, 3-2. And speaking of Pudge Rodriguez, here's our LoJack caught stealing stat of the day. Here are the numbers last year. Almost 46% in throwing out runners. And Inge is aboard again for the 2nd time, ball 4. Leadoff man is on. Hey, Tigers single game tickets for the entire 2000 schedule are on sale now. See the Cardinals, Mets, Red Sox, and Yankees along with other great teams this season at Comerica Park. Order your single game tickets now by calling the new number. Here it is, 866-66-TIGER, or go online at tigers.com. Now Curtis Granderson. Line drive, right field, base hit. Inge rounding the bag at second. He'll go to third. It's paddled a bit by Rios in right. Granderson goes to second. He's in safely. And the Tigers have runners at second and third and nobody out.
Halladay tried to sneak that first pitch fastball by Granderson because a couple of innings ago he got behind Granderson and then Granderson hit and ran and he got Inge in the scoring position. This time he tried to sneak a piece of cheese by him and he whistled this ball into the right center field gap. Inge off and running. He gets to third and Granderson gets to second with a great slide.
There was a bit of a bobble by Rios, but they called that a double. And Granderson was thinking 2 all the way. Now this is the guy that you definitely want up in this situation. Tying runs in scoring position. It's Placido Polanco.
Overbay on the right side of the infield trying to take away that hole where Polanco likes to hit the baseball. Overbay probably playing 10 to 15 feet off the first base line. Here's the bag. He is well off the bag.
That is a huge hole down the first base side.
Well, Polanco hits so many balls directly at him. That's what he's hoping for, that he hits one right at him instead of in the hole.
Ooh, he gave him the inside corner there. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You see Polanco chokes up on the bat, which makes him a very good bat handler. Halladay has gotten the benefit of some borderline calls this afternoon by Rick Reed.
That may have been one of them. It is so much different to be 2-0 as opposed to 1-1. That one missed inside. 2 balls, 1 strike on Placido.
And for the most part, the Blue Jays are conceding the run here with a runner on second and third. A ground ball too short or second will most definitely get Brandon Inge home. Anything hit right on the button at Troy Gloss or Overbay on the corners, Inge has to make a decision on whether he's going to score or not. But a ground ball up the middle will score Brandon Inge, which is what Polanco should be thinking right now.
Try to lift it the other way, but he goes foul. 2-2. Well, the early returns on Curtis Granderson are good. A single and a big double here in the 5th inning after the leadoff walk, and that has put the Tigers in decent shape. Get these tying runs in here. Granderson 2 for 3 in his first game of the season. cute and almost fair inside the bag at first base. Polanco almost found that area down there that Overbay was giving him.
Well, he's got some tremendous bat control. You can see he chokes up on the bat. There's a lot of room at the bottom, and he's just patient. This ball is almost past him before he decides to swing, and that's one of the reasons why Polanco is one of the toughest guys in the American League to strike out.
You've got to have a lot of confidence to hit with 2 strikes to be that type of hitter, and Polanco is just that. And that is hit to left and a base hit. Angel scored. Granderson to third, and the Tigers are within 1. What an AB by Placido Polanco.
Well, instead of throwing him a hard sinker ball at the bottom of the strike zone, he went to the breaking ball, and we have seen Halladay hang a couple of breaking balls today. But what Polanco is able to do is get this ball in between Clayton and Gloss. The runners had to hold up momentarily because they didn't want to get lined out. Now you've got the dangerous bat of Gary Sheffield once again standing in the batter's box in a run-producing situation.
The meat of the Tigers order coming up in Sheffield, Ordonez, and Guillen, and still nobody out in a 3-2 ball game. First and third for the Tigers. Sheffield takes outside. Here he drove in his first Tigers run with a sacrifice fly. Back in the third, it was an absolute rope out there to left field.
And the Tigers have a couple of guys batting second and third that do not strike out a whole lot and put bat and ball play an awful lot.
And again, Halladay gets the inside part of the plate. Granderson is at third base, and Polanco has just singled in a run. He's at first.
This lineup is going to be dangerous all season long. And guys that have lesser stuff than a guy like Halladay, they're in trouble.
Look out. Spins him out of the way. Well, what it does, Rod, is it gives a guy like Monderman, who gives up 3 runs early in the game, the confidence to know that 3 is certainly not insurmountable.
That's one of the reasons why the Tigers pitching staff will have a very good year. Their offense is been upgraded.
Sheffield ahead 2-1.
He wouldn't throw him a fastball, would he?
Foul back out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He did.
Yeah, he did. And this type of situation is one of the situations that Jim Leyland pointed out in spring training. Granderson had a pretty good at-bat. Of course, Polanco had a lengthy at-bat. Already 4 pitches here to Sheffield. Then you get a guy like Halladay tired when Maglio steps to the dish.
High pop-up, shallow right field, long run. It's going to be caught on a great play by Hill. Granderson will tag, and he will score. Sheffield has another RBI.
Great base running by Granderson. Great call by Lamont. Great call by Granderson. You can see Hill, he makes a great play. Even if he didn't have to leave his feet, it was going to be difficult for him to throw Granderson out. Granderson waited until the ball was in his glove, took off. Really no play at home plate.
It's a 3-3 ball game. The Tigers have tied it up with 2 here in the 5th. And Curtis Granderson smack dab in the middle of the rally. Sheffield now with 2 RBIs. Here's Ordonez. Markham now is beginning to heat up.
A little nervous.
He looks like it, doesn't he? Peeking through the fence.
I'd be nervous too against this lineup.
I gotta go where?
Are you sure they called for me?
With that lineup? 1 for 2 for Mags. He's singled back in the 3rd. Go ahead run at first base with 1 away. Well, we mentioned that Halladay throughout his career had absolutely dominated the Tigers, but I think most of those numbers, or a good portion of those numbers, came where the Tigers really struggled offensively. Didn't quite have the team that they've had the last 2 years.
No, there was no Maglio, Ordonez, Pudge Rodriguez, Polanco, and Sheffield, and the rest of the boys.
High fly ball, shallow left field. Reed Johnson is under it. 2 gone.
The guys that I just mentioned, those guys throughout their careers have had no difficult time of hitting #1 pitchers. There's only a select few that could beat up on the best of the best, and the Tigers have quite a few of them in their offensive lineup.
Well, and you make a good point in terms of what this Tigers lineup can do against lesser pitchers. I mean, you're looking at Roy Halladay here, who is every single season a Cy Young candidate. And to be able to come back from a 3-0 deficit, they scratched out a run in the 3rd. They put together 2 more here in the 5th, and all of a sudden they're back in the game.
Well, they're doing exactly as Jim Leyland had them doing all season long last year, and that's grinding out at bats, grinding out the game, playing 9 innings.
Guillen hit one to the wall in right center field his last time up off Halladay. It fell just a little bit short. Carlos 0 for 2. That's popped up left field. Johnson camping under it to retire the side, but a big inning for the Tigers. They come back to tie it up with a couple of runs, all even again. 3-3 ball game. Tigers baseball on FSN Detroit is brought to you by Aflac. Ask about it at work. And by Audi, leading the way in safety, design, and intuitive driver-inspired technology. Hey, this game today is available in crystal clear, high definition on FSN HD. And we're glad to have you along with us here this afternoon. Tigers have come back to tie this one up in front of a sellout crowd here at Comerica Park. Wouldn't have it any other way on opening day. They are standing in the aisles and standing out beyond the walls in right center field.
Well, be careful with Frank Thomas, who is leading off the top half of the 6th inning. Bonderman has thrown him a lot of fastballs inside, no doubt. Big Frank looking in there now. So if you go in there, make sure you don't miss over the heart of the plate.
Well, for Bonderman now, he's retired 10 consecutive batters after really struggling with his command early. 78 pitches in 5+ innings. Not too many strikeouts today. He has 2, and he's walked a pair. Line to left field. That's a base hit.
Well, you knew Big Frank was looking in there. And as a hitter, when you know a guy is going to give you a fastball on the inside part of the plate, this is where you can clear your hips out of the way. Take a look at the hips. He kind of steps in the bucket, hips clear out, front shoulder clears out, and he's able to get that bat through the strike zone in a hurry. One of the few guys that swings the bat and his back foot comes off the ground. He still hits balls 500 feet.
Have there been any more intimidating hitters in the game of baseball than the 2 guys we have in this game? Sheffield and Thomas both have better than 400 home runs.
Yeah, they're both right up there.
And they'll both get to 500.
Frank will get there this year. And if Sheffield gets there this year, the Tigers will be talking about a real successful season.
Yeah, they will.
He has 455 to Sheffield. Big Frank checks in with 487.
Troy Gloss with the leadoff man on.
You know, Big Frank played one year of football at Auburn.
There's Joel Zamaya tuning up in the pen. Here comes Jim Leyland to have a chat with Bonderman. Well, that was back at Auburn, right?
Yeah, looked like a big football player, big tight end. It's one of them conversations by Leyland in one of his patented strolls to the mound to make sure that Bonderman knows exactly what's at stake in this game and to bear down. He probably told him you've got 1 more inning to go, so get the outs that you need to get and get your team back in the dugout so they can score some more runs for you and get you a win out of this.
It was typical Jim Leyland before the game today, talking about the pomp and circumstance of opening day, and Jim said, man, it's great for the fans and it's great for the city, and we're real excited, but we need to play baseball now, and we're going to work, and people need to understand that. But we've got 161 more of these to play. High fly ball, towering fly ball to left field. Monroe is going back. Will he have room to the wall to make the catch? Whoa! Gloss can hit him out, but he fell short that time.
Well, Gloss knew that he was going to get a fastball from Bonderman. A lot of times when the pitching coach goes out or the manager goes out to visit, that next pitch is a fastball. But give Craig some credit. You see him reaching with the right hand. He knew exactly where the wall was and able to jump up. Look at him judging where the wall is. Now he knows he has room to jump. Very nice job by Monroe. Bloss was wishing he had enough, but he knew he didn't hit that ball well. Not Toronto.
Yeah, where they seem to fly out with regularity. Most, in fact, of the Blue Jays had many more home runs at home than on the road. Ball inside to Alex Rios.
Bonderman still has a lot of giddy up on his fastball, 93 to 95 mile-per-hour range. I was talking to Andy Van Slyke in spring training, and he was just talking about the maturation process of Craig Monroe in left field and how pleasant it was for him this year to see the work ethic of Craig.
Well, Jim Leyland said that early in spring camp. He was putting on a show when they had infield practice, and he had the outfielders throwing, and Monroe has really turned himself into a pretty good outfielder. I feel very underrated defensively.
That's one of the things that a lot of teams just do not do anymore, and that's taking out infield practice where the outfielders throw and the opposing manager and coaches can kind of gauge the arm strength of the opposing outfielders. You just don't see it.
Why is that, do you think?
Well, I think that for the most part, guys go through the motions when they take infield. And back in the day, Andy Van Slyke was telling me that he used infield practice as a tool to prevent third base coaches from scoring runs against him. He said he would throw the ball as hard as he could in infield, hoping in the game that because he threw the ball so well, that would cause somebody to hold somebody up and they wouldn't score that run. He said he took as much pride at seeing the third base coach put both hands up as he did hitting a home run.
Well, you just don't see a whole lot of it anymore. I mean, you'll see him do it in spring training as they prepare for the year. But boy, once the season starts, very rarely do you see anybody take infield.
Very few teams, only your real young teams.
And it's been a while since I've been around the minor league scene, but I don't know if they even do it at all as much in the minor league. I'm sure they probably do it a whole lot more. That'll get away from Pudge and move the runner up. Even Frank Thomas is able to move up on that wild pitch.
Well, they weren't holding Frank on, which meant he was able to get a couple of steps off the bag. And he knew that that was a breaking ball count to Rios, and he anticipated it and got a pretty good jump. Pudge did all he could to try to knock that ball down. Now Bonderman's got some work to do here with the left-handed hitting Zahn in the on-deck circle.
Rios has an RBI with a double that came back in the first inning. It blooped into left. Swing and a miss, and Bonderman dusts him off. Third strikeout. That's a big one.
That's Mr. Snappy. He brings it with him every time he takes the hill. Just great location. The last 5 feet or where this ball does most of its damage. If you're Rios, you see fastball coming out of Bonderman's hand because of the arm speed and the velocity of the pitch, and you start your swing and all of a sudden the ball disappears on you. I think Pudge Rodriguez went out to talk to Bonderman with 2 outs and a base open. I don't think they're going to pitch around Zahn, but they're going to be awfully careful with Zahn, with the score being tied at 3 in the 6th, and Hill, the right-handed batter, in the on-deck circle.
All academic. He's going to get him. Casey tags the bag for the out. They'll strand a man at second. 5.5 have been played. Downtown, it's 3-3.
Grand slam home run, Craig Monroe. Kenny Rogers dove to first, and he got him. Magglio Ordonez line drive down the left field line. Gary Sheffield. Gone, a home run. Dawson Polanco line to the right center field. It's going to drop for a base hit. First pitch to Pudge. Tigers win!
This Wednesday and Thursday, the Tigers take on the Toronto Blue Jays. On Thursday, the first 10,000 fans get an official Tigers Magnet schedule, courtesy of Comerica Bank. Call 866-66-TIGER or go to tigers.com for tickets. Who's your Tiger?
3-3 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Mario and Rod back at the ballpark. Well, thank you very much. And we go out now to the third member of our team. It's check back in with John Keating. Keats.
Mario, I'm out here in right center field with some of my new best friends. I tried some of them to not become my new best friends, but there was no stopping them. Tim Pasquarella has referred to this as his section. This is standing room only.
My section, baby, the standing room.
How long have you been out here?
Since the first inning.
Okay, and as you might imagine, Mario and Rod, a lot of these people have been here
for a long time as well, if you know what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're saying.
I don't. What do you mean, Keats?
Let me give a shout out to Rod. Yeah, Tim, by the way, is Rod Allen's biggest fan. So you the man, Rod. You the man. Okay, there you go. There's lots of you demands as we're walking around Comerica Park, perhaps fueled by this glorious spring day in downtown Detroit.
All right, Keats. Thanks very much. Make sure they don't spill anything on that Armani. Swing and a miss by Pudge.
And Pudge trying to do a little bit too much today. Last time up, he grounded out to third base on a ball that he normally would take up the middle. And this last swing is just a huge swing by Pudge Rodriguez. Normally, he does not take swings this big, and when he does, he usually swings and misses. As you can see, that front shoulder really flying off the baseball. Like to see Pudge getting back to that patented 300 career swing, which is staying on the ball, driving it the other way.
And strike three call. They got him on 3 pitches. Pudge didn't like that. And again, Halladay gets the inside corner for strikeout number 3.
And probably too close to take with 2 strikes.
I'd agree with that. And with 1 away, that'll bring up Sean Casey. So Pudge is 0 for 3 this afternoon. Tigers were down 3-0. They've come back to tie it up as we play in the bottom of the 6th. And if you're looking ahead, of course, the Tigers, and we'll say this oftentimes this year, in tight games in the middle innings, if you look ahead, that bullpen really is something the Tigers can rely on. Casey flares this one to the air toward left field, heading toward the line. Johnson runs it down, 2 away. Well, let's see. The opening weekend of the season also marks the return of Fox Saturday Baseball. Matchups include the Mets battling the Braves, the Twins taking on the White Sox, or the Dodgers and Giants. The Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week returns this Saturday. Its new time is 3:30 p.m. on your local Fox station.
You'll also see the Detroit Tigers on Saturday quite a few times this year.
How about a total of 8 times this year?
Wow. That's what happens when you win. Everybody wants to see you.
Fine with us. Craig Monroe looking for his first hit of the season, 0 for 2. He's had a tough time with Halladay today. He has fanned twice against Halladay.
Well, Halladay has given him a mixture of hard 2-seam fastballs on the inner half of the plate. And then once he's gotten Craig looking for that pitch, then he's thrown him a mixture of variety of different speeds on his breaking ball that Craig has had a difficult time of laying off of.
And again, he's behind in the count, 1-2. And for Halladay, he's reached a mile marker now. And there it is, an even 100 pitches thrown.
On opening day would lead me to believe that that is probably, and this will probably be, his last inning.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if it wasn't. Casey Jansen is tuning up, perhaps preparing to enter this game at some point.
They no longer have Justin Spire. Justin Spire signed with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, and he was the main guy last year that got the ball to B.J. Ryan, their closer. They still haven't figured out who's going to close that gap this year.
Down goes Monroe. He fans for the 3rd time this afternoon. Halladay has 4 total. We played 6, 3-3. Opening day here in Detroit. We go to the 8th inning. It is a 3-3 ball game, and Joel Zumaya now is going to have to deal with the middle of the Toronto order. This will be a very big inning for Zumaya. He's got Vernon Wells leading it off. It'll be Wells and then Thomas and then Gloss.
And Chuck Hernandez, who is the pitching coach for the Tigers, had Joel Zumaya throwing a few more changeups and a few more breaking balls in spring training this year. And the reason for that is there are some good fastball hitters in the American League that if they know and are convinced they're going to get that fastball from Zumaya, as we saw Reed Johnson last half inning hit one pretty deep to the wall, they can cheat enough to where they can do some damage against him. But by throwing a breaking ball or a changeup occasionally, that allows that thought to be put into some of the opposition's minds, and then that allows them to get that fastball by some guys.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Wells.
But when he's backed up against a wall, you know you're going to get number 1.
That's just the way it's going to be. And that's where location, I think, becomes important.
Right.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Vernon Wells. And he's singled in a run in the first.
Joel is just not a comfortable at bat. He just throws way too hard. And he has that nasty breaking ball from time to time. He can lock you up. He locked him up.
Left it a little bit high, though.
I think that one fooled Rick Reed. It's just an unbelievable pitch.
Get Wells. Whoa! Oh, my weight's on my front knee right now.
He buckled him. And the one thing that he does not want to do here is walk the leadoff hitter.
Full count on Vernon Wells. There's the big hurt waiting on deck. Gave him the fastball, hit hard to the shortstop. Guillen gobbles it up. Zumaya came on in the 7th, walked a batter, the number 9 hitter Royce Clayton, but then got a couple of outs, no damage done.
And Zumaya just needs to pitch smart here in this situation, and Pudge obviously will call the necessary pitches. And Frank Thomas and the guy in the on-deck circle, Troy Gloss, have the ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark to left field. However, today in spacious Comerica Park with the wind blowing in from right field, that's where you need to force these guys into hitting the baseball. Center field, right field.
Here's Old Glory out in center. She's gotten a workout today. One ball, 1 strike on Frank Thomas, a single for 3 today. 487 lifetime home runs, which ranks him 23rd all time. 1-2. They handed out some information before the game concerning Frank Thomas and all the home runs he has hit in his career as he marches toward 500. And I wanted to look up what pitcher he has hit the most home runs against, and it's a pretty good one. Mike Messina. He's hit 9 lifetime homers against Messina. Oh, look out, there goes the bat, heads up. Nice play on the strikeouts.
Get some high fives, homie. Let's take a look at our bell tire pitch by pitch and how he attacks the dangerous Frank Thomas. First pitch strike, fastball right down the middle, and he is not going to give him anything but hard stuff. He gives him the breaking ball finally with 2 strikes, and all Frank Thomas could do was launch his bat into the stands. If he tries to hold on this bat, he breaks his wrist.
2 outs, and here is Gloss. I would imagine they'll take that bat and replace it. That guy deserves something for sitting in the front row there and seeing that thing whistle right at him.
He hid the bat.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I didn't get it. He hit it.
I don't know where it went. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, almost on cue, too, with that breaking ball from Zumaya. You talked about it a batter before. What a weapon if he can throw that pitch for strikes. And Frank Thomas goes down swinging. There's a strike call to the outside corner. 2-2 on Gloss. Foul back out of play. Gloss, pretty good home run hitter in his own right. 257 in his career. Zumaya has fallen behind a few hitters here. In fact, he walked Clayton back in the 7th, and now he's going to go 3-2.
Well, if he threw him a breaking ball here, he'd get the strikeout because you know what Gloss is dialed in for. A piece of cheese.
And he missed with it. Second walk allowed by Zumaya. Here's Alex Rios. Rios, one of the 3 Toronto RBIs. Blue Jays got 3 in the first inning. Tigers got 1 in the third, tied it up in the 5th with 2. Bouncing ball left side of the hole. Guillen on the backhand. Fires to second for the out. Nicely done. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Gary Sheffield, the newest Tiger, leads it off. And Chefs are ready to go.
Catch Tigers live coming up next.
Tigers baseball on FSN Detroit is brought to you by your Detroit area Chevy dealers. Chevy drives the Motor City. Here comes Gary Sheffield as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Trying to untie a 3-3 tie.
Pretty good pitch there by Jansen. A little breaking ball at the bottom of the strike zone. I thought it was low, but Gary not complaining.
Just like Zumaya had to go through 3, 4, 5 for the Blue Jays, Jansen has to go through 3, 4, 5 for the Tigers here in the 8th inning. Sheffield, Ordonez, and Guillen. Gary has a couple of RBIs. Both on sacrifice flies. The 1-1. Got out in front that time in the air toward left center field. Vernon Wells going to run it down. He had Johnson cutting in front of him. Little crisscross action there. 1 away. Jansen has retired 4 in a row.
Well, it's a breaking ball that's down and away from him, and doesn't hit it that hard. Johnson is calling the ball along with Vernon Wells. That's why you have to have communication. When there's 50,000 people in any ballpark, you can't really hear the other guy calling the baseball, so you better take a peek at him if you don't want to have a collision out there.
Maglio Ordonez 1 for 3.
A lot of breaking balls from Jansen.
Jansen made his big league debut last year, pitching in 19 games for the Blue Jays. Action in the Tigers pen. Todd Jones, the Tigers closer, tuning up. Jim Leyland has watched his team fight back from an early 3-0 deficit in this game. In fact, they got 3 runs early on Bonderman, all in the first. Little tapper off the end of the bat. Jansen will flip to first, 2 gone. So he's retired 5 straight. Let's bring up Carlos Guillen, not before we get a visit to the mound, though. Check out our Comerica game summary. Jeremy Bonderman went 6 innings, allowing 5 hits, 3 earned runs, all in the first inning. Halladay struck out 4 in 6 innings, gave up 2 earned runs. Sheffield has knocked in 2. Big day for Granderson. And of course, the Blue Jays had that big first inning.
I would imagine the conversation between Jansen, Zahn, the catcher, and Brad Arnsberg, who is the pitching coach, is probably has something to do with the guy that is standing in the batter's box now in Carlos Guillen, being a left-handed batter, and having Pudge Rodriguez, who has not swung the bat today as well as he normally does. So they don't want to give Guillen nothing too good to hit. At least I'm assuming that's what they were talking about.
That's sliced toward left, but it's going to go foul. And a souvenir for a fan in row 1. Carlos 0 for 3. A couple of fly balls and a ground out.
Carlos given a 4-year extension on his contract this year, which will keep him in a Tigers uniform beyond 2010. He wanted to get something done before spring training was over, and they pretty much waited until the 24th hour.
Yeah, very end. Carlos did not want it to become a distraction in the middle of the season. So if they couldn't get it done before spring training, then they would have to wait to the end of the year. Free agency looming. Hit well to center. Vernon Wells is there, and the Tigers go 1-2-3. So we'll go to the ninth. Still trying to decide this one. Tigers 3, Jays 3.
Ryan Field back here with you at Comerica Park on a glorious opening day. Tigers and Blue Jays coming up after the game. We'll talk to some of these fans about the excitement level for the upcoming season and what opening day means for them. Also, highlights, analysis, interviews, all that and much, much more on the inaugural edition of Tigers Live postgame coming up after the Tigers and Jays. Meantime, Rod and Mario, back to you guys upstairs.
All right, Ryan, we look forward to it. Thanks very much. A packed house here today. And how about today's attendance? Get a load of this, 44,297, a new single-game Comerica Park record. And they are shoehorned in here today for the opening game of the 2007 season. They've seen a good one, 3-3 contest. And the Tigers go back to the pen now, and we have Todd Jones coming into this one.
62 games last year for Todd Jones, 37 saves and 43 opportunities, 28 strikeouts. Todd Jones had more saves than strikeouts. It's not often you say that about a closer.
No, absolutely. 37 of them last year. He had 40 saves 2 years ago. Normally, closers are guys that will throw it by you a little bit more than Jonesy will.
Yeah, but if you're a defender, you're in your toes when Jones comes in the ball game because he throws a lot of strikes and pitches to contact.
Little pop up to the shortstop. Guillen hauls it in. One quick out.
He's got that good cut fastball, and occasionally he'll throw you a big lollipop type breaking ball. But one of the things that has made Jones so good as a closer is the fact that he has tremendous command.
So Zumaya goes 2 scoreless innings. The Blue Jays have no runs and 2 hits since the first inning today. That's how well the Tigers rebounded from that 3-run first. Bonderman, Zumaya, and now Jones. And they faced a tough cookie today in Roy Halladay and got to him for 3 runs. Aaron Hill, the batter. 6 Tigers hits this afternoon. Jays have 5 total. Hill is 0 for 3. Now 3-1. Todd Jones began his career in the Houston Astros organization. He joined the Tigers in '97 and has become the all-time Tiger saves leader. Strike called right down the middle. 3-2 on Aaron Hill. Full count pitch. Looks like the former Tiger has moved to the on-deck circle. Royce Clayton due up next, but Matt Stairs, wearing Blue Jays colors these days, is on deck.
Matt Stairs kind of had a couple of big hits for the Tigers down the stretch.
Ooh, we just lost him. Ball 4. Go-ahead run is on. Hey, the FSN Final Score is Sports Ultimate Highlight Show nightly. Tonight it's a look at all the action from opening day around the major leagues and highlights from NCAA basketball in the national championship game. The FSN Final Score tonight at midnight, immediately after the conclusion of our Tigers 36-inning marathon here on FSN Detroit. Well, here is Stairs. He provides the Blue Jays with a veteran hitter off the bench, can give you some power. Rod talked about a couple of big hits he had. He had that big home run. It was the final day of the season, wasn't it, against KC? Late in the game, tied it up.
Pinch hit variety, I believe.
Tigers are going to lose that game, but it was a big hit nonetheless.
Was not eligible for the postseason roster because they acquired him from Texas in the middle of the month of September.
Good numbers lifetime against Jones with a home run. Todd would like here a ground ball. Get him out of this inning. They have Hill at first base. There's your ground ball. There's one. There's two. Double play. 6-3 to retire the side. So we'll go to the bottom of the ninth inning. It'll be Pudge, Casey, and Monroe coming up. At a sold-out Comerica Park in downtown Detroit, 3-3 ball game, and Pudge Rodriguez will lead it off for the Tigers as Casey Janssen runs out there for his third inning of work here today.
And lots of sliders from Janssen to all the right-handed hitters. This is where Pudge Rodriguez can keep that nose in there a little bit longer and hit a base hit the opposite way.
New shortstop for the Toronto Blue Jays, a former Tiger. John McDonald will take over for Royce Clayton. They pinch hit for him. 1 ball and 1 strike on Pudge, who is 0 for 3. Now 1-2.
Quite a few former Tigers on the Blue Jays roster. Johnny Mack, who's playing shortstop. I saw Jason Smith earlier today, and of course we told you Matt Stairs spent a brief time in the Tigers uniform last year.
They're the enemy now. That oftentimes happens in sports. 1-2 on Pudge. Breaking ball that he fouls again back out of play. There is action in the Tigers pen. Fernando Rodney. Tigers trying to get that leadoff man on. They have Casey waiting on deck. Then it would be Monroe. Jansen has retired all 6 that he has faced. Todd Jones did a nice job. Got a double play ball. The Tigers bullpen has been very good today. Zumaya, 2 scoreless innings. And Jansen wants his catcher to head out to the mound now. Greg Zaun. Well, when you look at late victories, look at the Tigers. They had 7 last at-bat victories.
It seemed like they had so many more than that.
Red Sox led the way with 10.
Big Papi.
He's made a living doing that. Swing and a miss. Down goes Pudge, and Jansen picks up a strikeout. Right now, let's check in with Trevor Thompson. He's got a preview of Tigers Live postgame coming up, Trev.
Looking very much forward to it as well, Mario. And we know this is a big traditional day here in the city of Detroit. We know you, the fan, love today, opening day, and Ryan Field is feverishly putting together a package that reflects you and the fan and what you think of opening day. I'll be inside the clubhouse talking with Jim Leland and various players. And, of course, Mario, you and Rod will drop by with your analysis, and that in itself is worth tuning in for. Back to you guys upstairs.
Isn't it, though? Thanks, Trev. We appreciate it. And it looks like we'll get a pitching change here, so tip of the cap to Jansen, who retires all 7 for the Blue Jays, and he'll depart. They'll go to the bullpen as John Gibbons will make another pitching change. Well, he can't ask for anything more than he got out of Jansen. 7 up, 7 down. And as they make a pitching change, we'll be back. 3-3 in the ninth. Fraser Wild here in the 9th inning as we are tied up, Tigers and Jays on opening day. 1 out, nobody on for the Tigers. The Jays have gone back to the bullpen and they have a left-hander on now. Scott Downs is in.
6-2 record last year, 59 games. Earned run average is really good. 61 strikeouts in 77 innings with 30 base on balls.
So Downs, the former Cub and Expo, facing Sean Casey with 1 out. And a big hook is in for a strike 0-1.
And for the most part, Casey doesn't have a difficult time against left-handed pitching. And he will take a slider and drive it the other way. And if you make a mistake and hang it, he will pull it.
Casey today with a single and 3 at-bats. He had a base hit back in the 2nd. But the Tigers have not had a hit since scoring 2 in the 5th. Halladay retired the last 3 he faced, and then Jansen came on for 2 1/3 scoreless. Mr. Tiger, Al Kaline, taking in yet another opening day here in Detroit. Saw Willie Horton here before the game as well. All of the former Tigers enjoying last year's success and hoping for more in 07. Good pitch, but it just missed. 2-2. Sheffield has made his presence known in a Tigers uniform. 2 RBIs today.
Tremendous pickup by David Dombrowski and the Tigers to get Gary Sheffield.
Now Casey has run the count full at 3-2.
Of course, David Dombrowski, that's the 2nd time he made a deal